welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Dunigan.
We finally got down to doing our top something movies of the year. We didn't really come up with an actual number because there were so many fucking good movies. This is one of the few years that I can really say that there was a lot of good shit out there. Mm-hmm. There's been so many years where I kind of look back and I'm like, I can think of like 2 movies that really stood out, but the rest is just nothing I wanted to see. But I don't know what it was. Something about this year. I mean, the only movies I can think that like I really saw that was a disappointment, sort of, was Parker. And I know we've mentioned this many a times.
Parker, there's
probably a couple other ones that kind of like were a letdown. Yeah, Parker's the one that always comes to my mind. Like, what was a letdown of last year about fucking Parker?
I'm having trouble kind of remembering. There's some things I just kind of totally forgot. I almost had to like glance at the podcast. Like, what did we fucking watch again?
That's what I did. I flipped through all our episodes. That really get like, oh, that's what we saw.
Yeah. So, and Parker's the only one that really stands out to me as a major disappointment. Not that I was going in there like I can't wait to see Parker with like a Jason Statham t-shirt on or nothing like that. But I mean,
there was other movies I saw that were just kind of like okay, like Hansel and Gretel was just okay, and
that was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's okay. I don't know. What do you think was better? Because they came at the same time, Parker or Hansel and Gretel?
I have to say Hansel and Gretel.
I would say that too. It's sad though because it's Jason Statham, it's based off that guy, the Richard Stark books. Mm-hmm. So it just sounds like it should be amazing.
Yeah. Before we jump in, it's better than the movie I saw today.
What did you guys see today? Even though it's 2014, probably, unless it's an older movie.
No. I saw something today, and it was. I just want to.
Did you see the Hercules movie?
No, I kind of wish I did. I heard that movie's bad, but I kind of wish I saw.
But at least it'd be action in it. That's the one thing you can always be the saving grace.
I took my nephew to go see I already forgot the fucking name of it. The Nut Sack or the Nut Job.
The Nut Job, yeah.
I took him to see the Nut Job, and
I remember I'm like, how do they fucking sell a title of a movie like that? He's just going
Nut Job.
The Nut Job.
There's so many like nut puns in that movie, and so he's like, oh, this whole thing is nuts.
It wasn't just like a squirrel turned around. He had like 2 big nuts. And he was like, what?
He was like the fucking Tanuki with the nut sack.
The nut sack that transforms and swings it.
Well, look at the credits.
I was thinking on that fucking movie back to the Pom Poko movie too. When it shows some close shots, because I'm kind of watching on a small TV though, but it shows like their balls and it's all like veiny and whatnot too, and they go big.
It's fucking awesome.
And it's weird.
Just one like mangled hair, just kind of like.
Just like it must be a Japanese thing to be like, dude, it's fucking balls. Like, what? You don't have your balls hanging out normally or something? Like, I don't know. It's like, what? You never seen a pair of balls before?
There's a samurai. Why do I have your balls out?
It makes me really wonder. Do raccoons really have like balls that can like stretch and form into other objects and whatnot?
They're not raccoons. They're tanukis. But
a raccoon is a tanuki.
I thought they were kind of like 2 different animals. They're just kind of similar.
I think it's
like tanukis were almost kind of like fox-like, but
no, a tanuki is I think that they're all from the raccoon family. I think, but what the tanuki is, it's the raccoon that can transform. That's the difference.
Oh, okay.
I'm not giving you the exact definition, but I think that's what it is.
Okay,
so you got your regular raccoons.
A tanuki's a mythical character, then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
You know.
I thought there was actually an animal out there called the tanuki. Now, I'm glad I'm learning this now. Recording to be posted out in the world,
In the very beginning. So we could both be wrong for who knows.
Yeah. Wikipedia will know, but I don't feel like pulling
But
out
I
my
don't feel like walking over to the corner and picking up the phone.
But it was like this movie. It was like, oh, actually, you're going to say more on the nut sack?
No, I think we had enough nuts for once.
The mystical...
Let's hear about the Nut Job. We were talking about nut sacks. Now let's hear about Nut Job.
Well, it's generally trying to be like a heist type movie. And it's like, that sounds, it's like, okay, it's a kid heist movie. I get it. And I was like, I like Will Arnett, and that's the only voice I really recognize. Liam Neeson voices the bad guy, generally, of the movie.
Now, what company makes this movie?
That's the thing. It's actually like a smaller company. It's like, this was actually, I looked in the credits, and pretty much this is like a Canadian/South Korean movie.
It's a weird combo.
Yeah, so...
Well, Canadian makes sense with, squirrels, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And generally, I'm actually now kind of
maybe nuts.
I'm kind of forgetting a lot about it. I just remember a lot of nut puns, and really most animated films this day and age. I'm not saying this to be a dick, but it feels like it's just generally throw a bunch of fucking crayons at the screen and then just have loud noises throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
One thing I do remember at some part in the movie, like one of the characters gets excited, so they start playing the Gangnam Style. Start playing that song. It's like, okay, whatever, It's just a staple of the time, I guess. And then the very end of the credits, they have all the characters dancing, doing the Gangnam Style song in the background.
I don't know what that is.
The Psy guy, that, fucking Gangnam Style. That's
I've never heard it.
Be grateful.
See, I don't go out to like these new wave public events or something.
I don't go to these. It's not a public event. It's just a fucking YouTube video that blew up.
Oh, is it?
It's like this fat Korean guy wearing these sunglasses.
I just don't watch. It's like just because I put videos on YouTube doesn't necessarily mean I always watch all videos on YouTube. I'm kind of picky when YouTube's like like Newgrounds. Like I can kind of pick what's off the main page and be generally in a good place, but YouTube's like one of those ones like
I can completely say no problem that I never actually sat down and watched the Gangnam Style video. I never have. I heard the song in the background in a few places. I've seen a picture of the guy. This movie's like, no, you're not escaping it, because a CG version of him is going to come out and dance during the fucking credits.
Well,
and that's
he probably
like,
got money for it. He's probably happy as fuck.
He's probably happy as fuck. And I'm like, well, I'm given the names I'm seeing in the credits and this has to be part Korean.
Well, they probably did all the animation as always.
Yeah,
It's hard to find an American movie, an American animated movie, that you don't see any either Koreans, Vietnamese, Chinese, somebody in it that's, just a full straight up American animated movie where they do all the in-betweens and they do all the other work too.
Yeah. I mean, there's a funny line or two in the movie, but hour and a half that's bound to happen at some point. So.
Well, what's bad when you just saw a movie and you can't really remember what happened.
I don't remember a whole lot. I really don't remember.
That's always a bad day. And I've had that moment too where you watch something, you're like, something happened.
Okay, a squirrel, he's a loner. There's a whole little park community, I guess what's supposed to be New York or something, and all the animals are a little community.
Nut York.
Nut York, maybe, yeah. And then fuck York or whatever. No, so
fuck York.
Fuck yeah. But anyway, so they're in this little he's the outsider, and he has kind of this mute rat that's a friend, and then for whatever reason. I forgot. Somehow he gets exiled. I already kind of forgot. He gets exiled. He set a tree on fire.
He's like a samurai or something. You
can't
come back here now. You have shamed yourself.
Kind of. He accidentally set a tree on fire where they store all their shit
nuts.
or whatever. All their nuts, yeah. And then, they come across, I remember now. They come across, there's, a nut shop that's a front for some, mafia guys that are trying to, pull off a bank heist. And then that's a parallel thing going on, and some other people you can come back to the park or whatever if you help us get these nuts out. So and that's
you get us nuts, we'll give you something in return.
It kind of it almost sounds like a bathroom deal, sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The squirrel's tapping his foot into the bathroom stall.
We love nuts here. We're all about the nuts, nothing else. No dick, no ass, fucking nuts.
That's the Liam Neeson character talking. So. And that's what I really remember of the movie.
So is that on your top 10 list for 2014?
No.
Is it in the top 10 list of
movies
you've seen in 2014?
I guess by default it is number 2 because I saw Lone Survivor in that so far. So
top movies for 2014.
So far it's number 2.
Lone Survivor and Nut Job.
That's the number 2 as the moment stands.
I guess Paranormal Activity 6 or 4 or 5, whatever it is, takes the next one, even though we didn't see it. I'm just gonna assume. Place filler.
I'm gonna assume that's the other number 2, but
yeah, probably a little bit better than the Nut Job.
Probably a little, yeah.
Well, we got a whole lot of fucking movies.
Better movies. I just had to share it with somebody.
Well, yeah.
How do you get off my chest? I feel like I did something wrong. Can I talk to you about it?
Well,
recorder.
Let's start with a movie that was pretty good. I think we both can agree on a pretty damn good level of movies. How about Pacific Rim?
I thought that one was pretty good. I don't think I liked it as much as you did, but I still found it to be a really fun movie.
As a kid, I always grew up watching Godzilla stuff, and even things like Gundam and all that stuff, so that all sticks to me. So to see an actual movie, or American movie, I guess I'm going to say, pull off this huge kind of Gundam/Godzilla crossover movie. I mean, in Japan, you probably could find about 50 of those kind of movies.
With an American budget and all that, though.
But with a bigger budget and everything. I don't know. I like that one a lot. I thought that was really cool. I still would like to go get that one.
I thought that was a pretty good movie. I liked it. One thing I would have liked to see in it, though, I would have liked to see the other robots fight. All we kind of got was the main robot and the British douchebag robot.
Well, because a lot of the other guys kind of went down quickly, like the Russian one, which the Russian one's badass.
I liked the Russian one because I think each robot was supposed to be, each one was a nationality, but I think each one was supposed to be a certain type of robot genre, almost looking at it. Like the big Russian one almost looked like 1950s, kind of like
a big iron clawed and...
Yeah, where I want to say, maybe I'm wrong here, but there's the Chinese one that had 4 or 6 arms. I want to say that one was almost kind of more anime-ish or something like that, possibly.
Yeah.
So maybe Evangelion or something. And then the big one, the big main one, I'm guessing that was probably more of a big bulky kind of Gundam.
Yeah, because that's what that sort of looked like.
Yeah.
But no, that one I liked it quite a bit though. I'd love to see a Pacific Rim too. I think that should definitely.
I'd like to see one. Yeah, I like
it.
I thought it was a good flick. I'd like to get it eventually. It's not the top of my list, but I would like to get it eventually.
But that was a pretty good one. Let's look at the old list here. Well, we can talk about Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
We'll put Man of Steel there, because Man of Steel is fucking awesome. And I know there's so many people out there that have to bitch about Man of Steel. And now, because everybody bitches so much, I have this problem now that every single time I watch any fucking movie, not even superhero anymore, I go, how much fucking collateral damage is going on? I go, oh, it's been in everything for the last, 60 years plus. And you just now noticed it?
My thing with that is, you can complain on, I'm not going to down someone for having a different opinion than me, but the one thing that just annoys me about it is so many people were complaining about collateral damage, and it's that happens in everything. And even in the comics, that's something that's been around there for a long time. There's a part like in All-Star Superman where he charges into Lex Luthor through a building down into a subway train, and they're fighting through the subway train. Nobody. That's a beloved comic. Nobody bitched or complained. But in a movie, suddenly everyone.
Even in Superman 2, it's not nearly as extreme, but they do get chucked into shit in that movie too, when they're fighting.
It happens in comics all the time. So I don't know what. So if you could say it was a little too dark for me, or if there wasn't enough of the whimsy or the writing, whatever, if that bothers you, fine. But the fact, I'm just annoyed when people complain about the collateral damage, because it's nothing.
Yeah, it's just weird to pick that up now. I was watching Casino Royale again, and we really think about 007 he fucks up that whole construction project in the very beginning of the movie.
Exactly.
Just to get one fucking guy that he ends up shooting, taking his cell phone anyways.
And then there's even the part in Skyfall when he's driving the tractor, ripping the back end of the train. Just to get that one guy.
It's always to get one guy. He just fucking destroys shit like nobody's business.
You can look back in any of those 007 movies, and I
just think it's so weird that people just bring that collateral damage thing up now, though it's been in so many movies in every form of entertainment, books, comics, video games. It's always been there, and just for some reason, all of a sudden now it bothered people.
I think it's funny that you and
maybe it was a buildup. Maybe it was something like it was subconscious for so many years, and all of a sudden they just see it in Superman. It's just fuck.
I heard some people say that it seemed kind of I'm not going to take this side, but I heard some people say it seems somewhat insensitive, seeing as we saw 9/11 happen, and we seen what a building looks like when it falls down.
Did I tell you about, speaking of 9/11? Did I tell you about the collateral damage, the scenes that they have shot, but they held them back because of 9/11? Really? Arnold Schwarzenegger collateral. Speaking of collateral damage,
really, there's scenes.
Yeah, and I read this in Arnold's book a while back, and because that movie was supposed to come out October. And then 9/11 happened, so they had to push it back till March or April or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they went back and they re-edited the movie, and they cut out a scene where the terrorist group hijacks a plane and heads towards D.C.
Oh.
And now it's one of those ones that's okay, it's been 12 years, going on 13 years since then. It's not Fox, but Warner Brothers, you already shot it. Might as well release an extended cut of that movie. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things, those always kind of bother me anyways. It's just how does a movie have anything to do with a real life thing, I
can understand for me push it back, but
I can understand the push back, but don't fucking edit it down and everything like that too.
Well, what's kind of stupid to me is
you spend all this money and
What's stupid to me, I don't know how the movie would have came out, but one of my favorite books of all time is a book called Survivor by Chuck Palahniuk. Mm-hmm. And in that book, the main character hijacks a plane, and he's kind of talking about his life into the black box before the plane's crashing. Because he's crashing this plane into Australia. I don't believe there's any buildings or anything. I believe it's just kind of blank terrain. Huh. And that movie was going to get made.
Animals and all stuff there, too. Just as important.
Yeah, I know, but I'm pretty, you get the point, though. I'm just saying to probably a big corporation's eyes.
Yeah,
as long as no people.
Yeah, as long as no business goes out and destroyed here.
Exactly. So, and in the it's probably one of my favorite books, but they were going to make that into a movie around the time 9/11 was going to happen. But then 9/11 happened. But then we can't do this because a plane gets stolen and then gets crashed. I'm like, well, you can't do it later or something.
Well, it's planes get stolen all the time in movies. It's a thing of movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll get fucking Harrison Ford. He'll save the day again. Don't worry.
Well, it's one of those things I get, if you push back or set a release date.
Yeah, I understand, not to throw, it maybe, 2 weeks after it happens, but it's just one of those ones, Warner Bros. Just released an extended cut of that movie, and it's it's been over 10 years. And once it's been over 10 years, it's almost like, okay, there's been other disasters that have happened, and and we make movies about that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's just.
And it's not even about it. That's the thing. To top it all off, it's about something completely different.
I mean, I don't want to sound. I think it's just kind of some people are just a little too sensitive, or they might assume people are a little too sensitive about it.
I think
there's that like Dreamcast game. I don't remember what it was. It was before Crimson Skies. There was a Dreamcast game where it was just like you flew these bright colored planes, and they canceled the game last minute, even though the game was done, because
it could crash into a building.
Because like, oh, the thought of a plane, no, or
like planes. There's just people that wake up in the middle of the night and go, no, a plane, a plane.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but
it's just one of those ones. It's like it happens. It's not like disasters don't happen all the time, and it's not like movies and video games aren't filled with just disasters. That's storytelling. But especially I think the thing that makes it worse though is like they have all that scene. It's sitting there at fucking Warner Bros. Lot. Mm-hmm. There's a fucking movie right there. Let's go rob fucking Warner Brothers and get the fucking collateral damage, like deleted scenes.
It's kind of like Fanboys 2 almost, but it's not Star Wars collateral damage.
After that, they're like, well, you know what? We're done with Star Wars now. We got some time to kill. What do we do now? Well, let's go get collateral damage.
We got another friend that's dying of cancer, and he's a big Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. This is all he wants to see.
Is the deleted scenes.
It's like, we're at it again, just have like a big movie, just an homage to like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
That'd be badass. I would so see that movie.
Yeah.
Well, how about you pick the next one? I picked the last.
But I picked the next one. Let me look at this.
Pick off the list.
Pick off the list.
And if you could read the chicken scratch list.
Let's talk about Flashpoint, because I was on Marley's podcast a little bit ago, and I forgot to mention this one. I feel horrifically bad about that.
You should.
Justice League
You should go sit in the corner, put the dunce cap on.
I like how I'm the one that suggested the dunce cap, yet I'm always the first one to get like implied to go sit in the fucking dunce cap.
It's almost like the guy who invented the dunce cap, but he's somehow, somewhere the guy who always has to wear it. Well, you invented it, so you fucking wear it. You dunce.
But
because Flashpoint, that really, that's a fucking one of the best comic books they've released in the last while. And well, really, Jeff Johns just shoots out magic.
Yeah, that was
he really does.
And I'm so grateful he left out the fucking Legion. He likes to bring in the Legion in everything he does.
Yeah, that's true, because he does have like the Superman and the Legion get together, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to read that one then. The cover is already maybe not by that.
Grant Morrison was thrown in the Legion in like Volume 3 of Action Comics. Like, no, not you too, but whatever.
It's like the Superman time and time again. I'm like, man, this book is fucking awesome, and then it's an older one, but I remember getting towards the end, like the last two or three issues, it's like, oh, they found Legion in towards the end. Don't even say it on the cover or anywhere in there. Just all of a sudden, guess what?
Don't give a fuck about the Legion. Maybe there's some cool characters in there, but really,
but
Legion,
I'm not willing to find out.
I don't give a fuck. It's like, it's in the future where everything you like about the DC universe is fucking dead, So I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But anyway, Justice League Flashpoint, something that's not dead, something that's totally fucking awesome.
Something that's, just pure amazing.
That's just like, I have no real complaints about that movie. That's just, that's just probably one of the best superhero movies made, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
especially since it's like one of the few times they made ones like it's from even though they advertise it as Justice League Flashpoint, it's really Flash. It's Flash's
story, but I feel like they have to put Flashpoint on there because
yeah,
for some reason, like, well, people might not buy it if it's just Flash. And fucking slap Batman and Superman on the cover, or no, Superman's on the cover on that one, but slap Batman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman on the cover and fucking sell.
I mean, I get why they did that, but at the same time,
I don't know about the Aquaman part, but that's not the selling point to children nowadays.
I think they're at the point they're just trying to sell Aquaman to make him a badass, because you're seeing him in a lot more T-shirts and stuff.
It's funny because he's been like that for 30 years, but it's just getting to the point where it's just like people still have this like 70s reminder. It's like that's what sticks in their brain.
And then you also got like the Injustice game, which they really said, no, Aquaman's a fucking badass. And a friend of mine, actually James Calafieri, who was on the podcast a few weeks back, when I showed him that movie, he's like, I'm not going to lie, I don't know my DC stuff, but that was a pretty cool movie. And some of the characters, I didn't know who they were, but I was wrong about Aquaman. So...
Yeah, no, that one's just all around good, and it's got even just good drama in it. You get that real sad part with Batman towards the end and Flash.
He's like, you gotta save Bruce! Like, jams, like, the fucking
Like,
note
letter.
in his chest. Like, oh, God, yeah.
And then he brings it to Bruce, and he's just like, really, the one gift that you can give a guy who has everything is a letter from his father from the future.
Yeah, and I kind of like how Kevin Conroy was there just to do this one bit. You know
Just
what
to
I
do
mean?
the voice of Batman at the end.
Yeah, I like.
Or I guess, is he in the beginning?
He's the beginning for a second. Yeah, he has a few lines. Like, there's the line. What is
I
it?
watched it about 3 times, but I actually haven't watched it since it kind of came out.
I watched a little
It
bit.
was like in 2 weeks I watched it 3 times, and I just haven't got to it yet.
No,
I
that's
haven't got back to it again yet.
that movie's a total like movie made for like any kind of like big time DC fan right there.
Mm-hmm. And just pure amazing.
I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm a huge Batman fan, but I am glad I threw Batman in there because it almost seems like a way to actually kind of bring in other people by throwing Batman in there. Well, Batman's in it,
He's
so.
like the gateway drug for like DC Comics.
And plus
like
just-
Wolverine's kind of like the gateway drug for Marvel. It used to be
yeah.
like Spider-Man, but for some reason Spider-Man gets put in the corner.
Yeah, he's wearing the dunce cap now.
Yeah, he's got to fucking wear the
That's what
dunce
you
cap.
get for emo dancing in the jazz club.
You shamed us, Spider-Man. You shamed us. We had to kill you off in the comic books. It just wasn't enough.
Died in
You have brought great shame on us, Spider-Man.
Silver Samurai just chucks a sword at him.
You don't know what to do.
Let's commit Sonobuku. Sobuku?
He's like, I do? Really?
Yes, Stan Lee says so. Emperor Stan Lee.
You just have like Stan Lee and like stand next to like Silver Samurai, like do it slowly. Look me in the eye.
Just all the Marvel characters just standing around watching him.
Like Iron Man just walks as he's like slowly dying and turning the blade in his gut, crying.
He looks and Iron Man's fucking shaking Stan Lee's hand.
Like yeah, like fucking.
He's giving a
sitting in
fucking trophy at this event.
He has a chair. Like Mary Jane's head is in like Iron Man's lap, and she's just bobbing up and,
And then
down.
he takes her off, and then Gwen Stacy goes and then he takes her off, and then Aunt May comes down, and he fucking dies. Giving thumbs up.
Looking at Peter.
Then Iron Man's, or not Iron Man, but AC/DC starts playing. I feel so bad for Spider-Man though, because
That's what
my
happened.
entire childhood, Spider-Man was Mr. Marvel.
He was. Now he's getting pushed aside. I mean, they're trying to push Spider-Man because now that since Sony owns Spider-Man, they're almost like, well, we don't own these other characters, but we own all the Spider-Man related stuff. So let's just, rather than expand a whole Marvel universe, let's just expand and do a Spider-Man universe. So they're trying to bring in all these different Spider-Man characters. They're going to try and just do a solo Sinister Six movie. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the 6 of them fighting the whole time, or if it's going to be like they're working together, pulling off heists or jobs or something. But that's what I hope.
Yeah, that sounds badass anyways.
Yeah, so... But no,
Speaking of that, we saw a good Marvel movie, Wolverine.
Wolverine, that one was pretty good. I enjoyed that one.
Wait, what's the title of that one again?
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine, that's right. I was like, they have something else after, or was it just called Wolverine? What was the title of that? It was a great movie. What the fuck was the title of it?
Wolverine, yeah. That one was pretty good. That was actually, I think it was better than the last Wolverine, and...
Yeah, I like the last Wolverine a lot, but I don't know. I have to watch Wolverine Origins again to really know if it was better maybe than the Wolverine and Wolverine Origins. I have to watch the Wolverine over again to see like if I like it more in Wolverine Origins. I'm not too sure because I've seen Wolverine Origins like 6 or so times, but I've only seen Wolverine once actually.
What I liked about this one is it felt like kind of a almost like a 70s action film, just kind of like very simple plot, just trying to escort the girl across the country, just trying to, and it wasn't really jam-packed. It was more like it happened to be, it's more of an action film that just happened to
have a superhero in it.
And then close out with a superhero.
Yeah.
Supervillain fight.
Yeah.
And that was cool to me. I mean,
It was different.
You don't see that very much in superhero movies. And that was, or sometimes they try and play too much to reality. And this one didn't do that. And at the same time, it felt like it was trying to please Marvel and Wolverine fans, to me at least.
Yeah, and the way it felt to me too is like it had enough superhero stuff in it that you didn't feel like they were really trying to make it grounded in reality because it didn't have that ground reality feel. It just kind of had. It was almost he could be walking around with a gun this whole time. It could be that kind of action movie, but he just happens to be Wolverine with his claws.
And that's what was cool about it. Sometimes when you hold back, that actually kind of, when you hold back and you say, do it without these elements over here, you can almost kind of come up with so much more, I noticed. For instance, I mean, going back to more, someone's dick who you always suck is Christopher Nolan, like Batman Begins. Like the fact that he said, we're going to try and keep it based in reality, but here's what you can use. And the fact they managed to take so much of like actual Batman chronology and fit it
jam
in,
pack it in there.
and still kind of basing it all in reality. It kind of worked, you know. So yeah.
Well, also with
Kind
like
of.
if you take all the old Wolverine stories, like not the X-Men ones, but the ones where just when he got his own run, they kind of had that feel of like it's almost like a crime story sort of, and Wolverine's just kind of there, like you know, it really it has that 70s movie feel, you know, whatnot, and it's almost like he's a superhero and he runs into other superheroes along the way, but it's not just jam packed like the X-Men, you know, where it's just like everybody's a fucking superhero. If you're not a superhero, you must be a villain or not cool.
The day, I'm saying if an old man Logan movie comes out,
that's one that, like, Marvel really needs a jump. One thing I'm surprised with, all the money fucking Marvel has, like, they can fucking Scrooge McDuck swim around in it.
yeah,
They should fucking start making more of, like, their animated movies. They kind of, like, stop doing that, and then they'll release one, and then they'll stop again. Because really, if you, like, the Planet Hulk one, that's just as good as any of the DC ones. It's up to par. You know, but they need to make more of those, though.
I would love to see, even though the animated would be cool, I'd love to see a live. I know that it would probably be the same. I'd love to see a live action Old Man Logan because that's probably one of my favorite Marvel stories of all time. And that right there made me want to go and pick up and start actually reading Wolverine. But the thing is, it's Wolverine and it's fucking expensive. And I already collect Spider-Man. I already collect Batman.
They charge more for Wolverine than they do like almost anything else.
I already buy.
I don't think there's a single other Marvel comic that's as expensive as any Wolverine one.
I already buy Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. So it's kind of like I already got all the big guys that are always expensive no matter where you go. So it's kind of like I don't know if I really want to spend another just because like Old Man Logan, that book was $30 by itself.
And it's only like 6 issues or 7 issues. It's not like it's thicker than anything else.
Fantastic read, totally worth it, but still, it was just one of those things like.
But I think that would make a perfect like for a Marvel animated one. If they start making fucking more of those. Yeah, because like the only ones I can really think of that were like the ones that are really good in like the last 5 years or so was a Planet Hulk. The Hulk versus one was pretty good. That was kind of like 2 shorter ones. There was the Thor Tales of Asgard one. That was a pretty good one. And then
Doctor Strange one was pretty good.
Oh yeah, there was a Doctor Strange one.
Did you ever see that one?
I didn't see that one yet, but I know of that one.
I'm kind of surprised how serious that one got because before, it was kind of like a little before I think Marvel Studios was around, and they had like there's a part where Doctor Strange is kind of planning on killing himself. So I'm kind of surprised how dark it got for being an animated movie.
Well, there is that Hulk and Iron Man one that just kind of came out, but it's kind of like CG. It's like, that's not the fucking same.
Yeah.
it's one of those ones that's like, that's not what I wanted. I mean, there's probably nothing wrong with it, but I don't know.
I'm not really big on CG animated movies a whole lot. I mean, all right, let me put it this way. I guess depending if it's a kid's movie, I can tolerate it more. But if it's like something like
if you try to make it serious, it's kind of hard to take it serious.
Yeah, unless you like fuse it lightly where you don't notice it as much, or it's just part of the background or something, you know.
Yeah, or if it has elements of it.
Yeah.
We'll pick another one.
Let's see here. Let's talk about
a big fat list of stuff.
Let's talk about Last Stand because that one, when I first saw it, I was a little disappointed, but thinking back on it, I liked it a lot more.
Is if I had to put it into a number, that's probably like my third favorite movie.
Really?
I like that one more than most movies. It is fucking up there. I love that one. I've seen it about 4 or 5 times since I got it.
That one was really good. I saw it on Redbox since then, and even though I think the bad guy was kind of lame, they could have done better on that. I think the rest of the movie, it's actually looking back on it was just an all around. It was cool to see kind of like a modern day Western Arnold come back, and plus,
I love that total director. Arnold comeback. The director was amazing. Had fantastic action, and I like the scenery. I like the bits of comedy they had in it. I like the story.
Louise Gesman with a Tommy gun running down the street.
Yeah, I mean, that's fucking badass. Now that one, I just love that one. That's such a good one.
I saw it like right when it came on DVD on Redbox.
I bet you most people forget about that one just because it came out in January, and that mostly like I noticed that whenever you look at a lot of other people's top 10 lists, you always kind of look at it and go like, well, that's like the movies that came out like the last like 3 to 4 months.
Didn't the guy? I'm trying to remember because I haven't seen the movie in a while. Didn't he actually get he played one of the nihilists in Big Lebowski. Didn't that guy get like a hole put right through him? Or how'd that guy die? I remember he died.
Is that the guy got split and he tips over?
Maybe he got split. I know he got shot in the ear because they crawled right beneath him under the school bus, shot, and it went through his ear. And then there may have been, I think he also died really violently aside from that. I know there was a guy who got split by a minigun, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, where Arnold pulls a minigun out of the back of the bus.
Yeah.
And then even Johnny Knoxville, like, even though he plays kind of like Johnny Knoxville played the goofy guy that you play lots of times. Which I always kind of feel bad. It's like, come on, give him some serious stuff, but we will get to more serious stuff of Johnny Knoxville. Serious, yet funny. But I don't know. Last Stand, all around great action movie. It was a great Arnold comeback. I'll say that because that's really. I mean, he's in Expendables, but that's his first starring movie since Terminator 3.
Yeah.
So.
He did a few cameos.
Yeah, he did. He was in Around the World in 80 Days. He had
Yeah.
that. That was his last movie he did before being governor. And then after that, the only thing he had. Oh, The Rundown.
Rundown, Expendables.
And then The Expendables and Expendables 2. And then Last Stand. So great comeback. But another good comeback, Johnny Knoxville, fucking Bad Grandpa.
That movie was hella funny. It was just kind of like the Jackass version of like Borat, really.
It really was, and if I had to say, I don't know, maybe not the number one movie I can think of that was the funniest movie, but I laughed so hard during that movie. It was so good, and I felt like that movie needed more attention, though. It kind of came, kind of went. It's coming out on DVD or Blu-ray in about like a week or two.
It got decent reviews, but then people just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, it just kind of, I mean, because I used to talk to people like, dude, did you fucking see Bad Grandpa? That was a funny movie. Like, when they ask about, like, what was a good comedy you saw this year? I'm like, fucking Bad Grandpa. It's hilarious. How can you not like it? I still watch this with my dad, because my dad's like, the two things he loves like the most is like Jackass and South Park. And I'm like, this movie, I'm like, this is all him.
Jackass for me, it's one of those things like when they're doing like the crazy stunts or kind of like the practical jokes on people. That's all good. It's more when they just like we're gonna eat shit or horse cum or that's where it's just like I don't really fucking care.
Yeah,
but
it's like that,
this was kind of like everything.
If you think this makes you cooler, it doesn't.
This is kind of even though there's like some shit jokes in there, it was all like more practical effects stuff. And this was kind of like this was a movie where like this is kind of like everything I liked about Jackass. And then he kind of
It was.
Plus
and
the
then
little
plus
kid
it just had a good story to top it all off, and
the little kid did a great job.
amazing
too.
actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just all around good comedy. I'll pick another one off that list. It's closer to you than it is to me.
Let's see here. Why don't we talk about Machete Kills?
Yeah, let's talk about Machete Kills. Because, maybe not the strongest Robert Rodriguez movie, but it was still damn good. And I need to look up when that comes out on Blu-ray. Cause
It was enjoyable.
what time? August is when it came out?
Came out somewhere in August, yeah.
So it should be coming out soon. Hopefully, my fear is, I hope they have special features for this one. Because that was like the downfall of Machete 1. It's like, where the fuck's the special edition one?
Yeah.
I even sent Robert Rodriguez a message on Twitter. I'm like, yo, where the fuck's the special edition one? It's like 3 years later. He didn't respond back, but
I noticed if you question someone on Twitter regarding...
well, it's like that's not my department.
If you question someone, they usually won't answer if it's like, when does this come out or when does that come out? But if you say, like, good job on something or something...
They mostly, yeah, well...
They usually... Which makes sense, I guess after a while you can only answer the same question so many times.
That's really bad. The other day, or about a couple weeks ago, like, Jesse Ventura was on Twitter, and somehow, some way, it was, like, retweeted by somebody. I was like, what the fuck? And I go look at him, like, he only has, like, 600 followers. I'm like, oh, he must just start out, well, fuck, I'm sending him a message right now. And I was just like, I fucking love you, just Predator, man! like one of those things. And he sent one back, he's like, well, thank you very much. I'm like, awesome. So cool.
He acknowledged me.
He knows I exist.
I had a Twitter for a little while, but I don't know what the fuck happened. I just had this. I went on there, made the screen name and all that, and I had one. I sent Kevin Smith a message saying,
You should know
I
what we're
fucking
talking
know.
about.
Yeah, Kevin Smith the message. We talk about him so much, but I sent Kevin Smith a message saying any possibility of Robert Rodriguez or Affleck coming on to Smoothie Makers. He didn't get back to me, but then like. I didn't check the thing for a while. Then I come back and suddenly it's like you're suspended for Twitter. It's like what did I do? Like all right, I'm just gonna.
You didn't show up to work.
I didn't go onto Twitter. I didn't use.
Well, what do you think? This was just like a free for all? No, it's a fucking job. You come here every day and you work.
Apparently so, because apparently if I didn't use my Twitter enough, it would like spin like all right, I'll just create a new one. It's like pick a name, just like try and pick the name. Like that name already exists. Well, give my fucking name back. I don't know. I fucking hate Twitter because of that. I mean,
really?
I'm gonna have to get a new one eventually, but I leave it alone just for a little while. I come back. Well, you're suspended because you didn't use it, but we're not going to give you this name back. It's like, well, what the fuck? Go fuck yourself. I'll eventually get it back or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I guess because you just weren't on. It makes sense though. I mean, like that's how a lot of things are. I mean, most of them take like multiple years. I mean, I remember getting like emails from like Yahoo. It's like you have this like extra email address. I'm like, oh fuck, I do. Oh fuck, I don't need it. You can erase it. It's been 10 years.
Then erase the name and give it to somebody else. Don't like fucking just hold on to this name and hold hostage to it. I try to put in my email. This email belongs to somebody else. Yeah, the fucking account you fucking canceled. You probably
just can send him or give him a call.
Yeah, I probably could.
Because I've always done in life, if you give him a call, it's never that difficult.
Whenever that happens, though, I probably could. But whenever that happens, I just get so pissed off. I just go like, fuck him. I just stop.
Chuck it.
I'm not doing it. Then like. I'm actually probably like, because it's like one of those things. I'm gonna try it now. It doesn't work, so fuck it, not doing it. If I did it now, it'd probably be all right, but I don't know.
Who knows?
Give him an actual call. So.
But Machete Kills.
Oh, Machete Kills, right.
I forgot that was like what we were at. No, the thing I like about the movie, though, is at first they give you this trailer for, like, Machete Kills Again, and it's like...
In space.
This, Moonraker / Star Wars kind of movie thing going on. And you just go, oh, that's funny. What a nice joke. Oh, that'd be awesome if they did that, you know? And then as you watch Machete Kills, it starts building towards it, and you kind of get to a point where you're like, well, wait a second. Are they fucking going that direction? And then it keeps going, and you're like, they fucking are going that direction. It is really going into space. That's fucking badass.
That's what I did like with the movie. I thought, I feel like a fucking negative Nancy because you were mentioning these movies like, well, here's what I didn't like about it, but I did like Machete.
I fucking love this movie. Well, guess what I didn't like about it, you fuck.
I feel like that guy. I'm not trying to be that guy, but Machete Kills. I did like that one. I thought that for a while the action was kind of like.
I will say the beginning kind of had, like...
He, like, just slashed a guy, then he'd jump out the window. That's all it would usually be.
Yeah, like, the first maybe half an hour was kind of, other than the intro action scenes, was kind of like, it was a little bit slower, but once it kind of got towards Mel Gibson's, like, space base, Moonraker base, whatever you want to call
From
it.
there on in, it's a lot more entertaining. There's a lot more action
just
going
great,
on.
and I really can't wait to see the third one.
Tom Savini comes back in.
Yeah, all kinds of cameos come in. I wish, like, some people, even though it's kind of cool to just see them have a cameo, but, like, Antonio Banderas and whatnot, I wish they were in a little bit longer, but...
There's the part where it's like, put on your 3D glasses now, it's the sex scene, you can't really tell what's going on.
The one that I like has all those kind of, like, nods to, like, kind of, like, film jokes in a sense. But no, Danny Trejo's just made... I'm glad to see, because even though I've never seen a lot of these ones, but... I see he's got, like, starring roles in all kinds of movies nowadays.
Yeah.
There was, like, a Western one. I don't know if it's any good, but it had him and Mickey Rourke in it. It just sounds badass.
I think it was like a Redbox movie or something. I wanted to check it out. I just never got around to it. But...
I saw a DVD of it.
You saw the DVD of it somewhere?
Yeah, they had it at the store.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I saw that. So it's like, it's good he's getting that, though, after, 25 years of playing the bad guy and
I think
thugs.
that's why Machete was made. So, like, Robert Rodriguez, this guy should be, like, a star at some point. So.
Exactly. And it was just a great one.
He should be in Expendables at some point.
He'd be a perfect person in Expendables. It doesn't even matter who, make him anybody in it. Just put him in there. But Expendables 3 looks badass. Let's see, another good one. We could talk about... Let's talk about Riddick.
Riddick was... I have no complaints for Riddick.
Riddick was just... That's the best Riddick movie there is.
Yeah. Well, actually, they're probably, like...
I'd say it's close to the first one.
Yeah.
But I would still say... I think
it's
just
better
like the
than first
Wolverine, I should give it another, like, view or two before I make my final judgment.
Same here. Actually, I still think it's better than Pitch Black. I still think Riddick's better than Pitch Black.
Yeah. But I don't think by much. Just...
Yeah.
I think it's better than Chronicles of Riddick. Because Chronicles of Riddick's... It's a movie that's, like, it's not bad, but it's not amazing.
What's cool about...
I more just like it because... If there was no Pitch Black and there was just Chronicles of Riddick, I don't know if I'd care for that movie a ton. I feel like I care for it more because I like Pitch Black so much.
Yeah, I think Chronicles... Well, I think what's cool about Riddick is, it's set in this giant, like, Star Wars type universe, yet we only get glimpses of it. And Chronicles of Riddick was the first one, like, well, let's go epic, and let's go here, let's go there. And even though that was still an enjoyable movie, it got a little too much into, like, the space fantasy with, like, knights in armor type shit. And I think that Riddick was a kind of a perfect balance of everything you liked about Pitch Black and the elements of Riddick that was cool. Like what I thought was cool about Riddick was the first third of the movie, it's like a survival movie. Second third, it's like Predator. He's the monster. It's kind of like the beginning of Pitch Black. Really.
No, yeah, where like he's now the guy hunting everybody.
And then the third, it goes back to being like a survival horror.
Yeah, and they're all kind of like, we gotta survive together, even though people are turning on each other. But
yeah. And that was, I'm just glad to see another big science fiction movies out there.
I know, because you don't always get enough of them. Well, speaking of science fiction, but not necessarily science fiction, let's actually go. Speaking of Vin Diesel, I think another really good one this year was Fast 6.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that one.
Had good action in it. I mean, it's sad that Paul Walker had to pass away.
It is a sad
That's kind of the bummer. But, I mean, as far as that movie goes, I liked it a lot. It had a lot of good action. I liked it more than Fast 5.
Same here. I think this one had a little bit more action. It was more balanced. It does seem weird, though, just imagine you're a kid and you're a kid, when the first one came out. Mm-hmm. You watch the first one. You see this movie about stealing DVD players.
Yeah.
And then somehow, for someone with time travel, of all the things they could do, they just like, all right, now watch Fast and Furious 6.
Yeah.
Like, Now it's like fucking G.I. Joe. They're bringing planes down and doing all this crazy shit.
Yeah, just guys who originally like just wanted to like steal DVD players so they could barbecue and drink beer at nighttime and have a good old time fixing cars.
And now, but then like, I mean, I still think, you're primarily watching the movie for the action, the car races, and that's the movie's good at. Doesn't hold back on that.
And this one I thought it had a little bit more car scenes because that was kind of like the downfall to like the last one. Though the stuff, it's a great movie, but as far as since it's called Fast and the Furious, there wasn't a ton in number 5 of car racing. There's the scene, the beginning, where they do it when they jump off the bridge next to the train, and then there's a scene at the end where they're taking like the bank vault. But other than that, though, I mean, the only other car scenes you get is when they're trying to like make the 30-second time like in the garage.
And then there's the part when he's all like, "We got to go get some cars." They go like, let's race to come back. Oh, good thing we got these cars, right, guys?
That part was it's like that. If you put I'll say this: if you put a race scene right in there, I probably would have went like, okay, at least it had 3 major race scenes, and I would have said that's good enough.
I think the whole thing with that movie was it was kind of like it's more of a heist film than a race film, but I think that's what pissed a lot of people off.
Well, yeah, I think it's a really good movie, but just with a name like Fast and the Furious,
probably use a little bit more action.
Yeah, a little bit more cars action. Mm-hmm. It was funny because Justin Lin, he directed number 3 on to number 6. And there's like less racing in each one, but if you think about it, like Tokyo Drift had more car scenes in than any of the other movies. Mm-hmm. And it just maybe it's like, oh, I'm just gonna ease these cars out each time.
I only saw Tokyo Drift when it first came out on DVD, right when you first got it. I haven't seen it since.
I remember I saw it in theaters, and I saw that movie and Cars the same day.
Yeah.
It was like, it's fucking car day! Car day!
You get all amped up for one, and you go to the other, like, oh, I go and see this movie?
Well, Cars wasn't bad.
It's not a bad movie.
I'll tell you, it wasn't Tokyo Drift. Definitely that was the key movie of the day.
I'll say, well, here's my thing. It's not so much... Cars isn't a bad movie. It actually is a good movie, but I almost have this weird resentment towards that movie because so many people I know love that movie so much. It's like there's so many better Pixar movies out there.
And car movies.
And car movies. Then I don't think that's the reason they're going off of, but my 3 favorite car films of all time: French Connection, Bullet, and Cars.
Cars 2, actually. That's the one I'm really digging.
Yeah, I never saw Cars 2.
I never
Cars
did
1,
either.
I like it, but I'm going to say this. I know we keep on going on tangents, so I'm going to say this. The one thing about Cars is it's kind of like the Pixar movie that's kind of aimed at the NASCAR crowd.
Yeah.
And I overall, I do like the movie, but one thing that I just call complete, utter bullshit on that movie, not the fact there's talking cars, I can live with that. Something I don't really take, though, is there's a part where he's all like, when like after Owen Wilson car pushes the old championship car through the finish line, which is a nice moment, the big old Texan kind of like gas company car comes up like, "Hey son, how'd you like to come work for me, even though that guy has for the last 25 years? It's like, oh, I don't know, I suddenly learned something about myself, and I'd like to go stay with my old sponsor. I understand, son. It's a great... You don't fucking understand, because you just offered that guy...
Well, son, you're gonna fucking die if you do that, then. I mean... Well, you want? I mean, I'll blacklist you. You'll never get another job anywhere.
That's what it would be.
I'm the oil Texan guy.
That's
Fuck
what,
you.
That's what it'd be. It'd be like, son, that wasn't a question. You're gonna work for me. I'm gonna kill your whole fucking family.
Put these shackles on now. You're coming with me.
I'm gonna go to Radiator Springs and nuke that fucking place. Just smiling, leaning in, and then just cut to like fucking like Owen Wilson car, the scared look credits. The cost of being number 3.
It really is. You don't want to be... Yeah, I don't know about that part. I haven't seen a movie since, like, the theaters, but I do remember that part. It's like, really?
No, not the big oil Texan car.
No, maybe if it was, like, some, like, fuel-efficient hippie company. It's like, yeah, man, like, that's cool. Do what you want, man. Explore the world. Fucking A.
And they probably wouldn't be the number 1 sponsor.
No, number 25. Yeah. Like, we're not really into ranks, man. We're here for, like, the world, man. Like, in auto racing.
Most economically friendly in the world.
Well, let's talk about another badass movie. Two Guns.
They're
all badass, but we wouldn't write them down on a list. They weren't badass.
I love Two Guns. That's
the one. I can't keep saying this. That was the one I fucking recommend to people. But I remember I'm like, oh my gosh, that movie is awesome. It's got Denzel and Marky Mark. It's kind of like they're on dirty, dusty roads. They both don't realize that like they're kind of working pretty much for the government. Because what's one guy? One guy's FBI and the other guy's DEA. Yeah, and it's like a 70s kind of like almost like Charles Bronson could have starred in this with fucking. I'd say Steve McQueen if it was like 71.
Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, maybe Paul
Clint Eastwood could. Even though
Clint
Clint Eastwood, a lot of times you don't see him until
Paul
recently.
Newman.
Clint Eastwood never really starred with like other big actors, if you notice.
Clint Eastwood or Paul Newman, Robert Redford.
Yep, Robert Redford. It could have been any of those kind of guys. Mm-hmm. Richard Roundtree.
Yeah, probably maybe would have got Dean Martin to play the evil, kind of like the evil mobster or something like that. So,
But that one was all. I can't wait to see that one again.
that one was really good. I really enjoyed that one. Plus, it's kind of like I like that old 70s style, kind of like dirt road, modern day western, like muscle car shoot 'em up movies. I always like those, and you don't see them that much anymore. So
No,
it was cool to see one.
I will say in the last handful of years we have kind of got like a resurgence of those kind of movies.
Last Stand was a little bit of that.
The Last Stand had that, and then Faster with The Rock kind of had that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there. I mean, like the upside of nowadays, we do have this kind of thing where people go like, you know what, I really like that type of movie, and we can go out and we can make another one like that. But it's not copying anything. It's just saying, hey, don't you like this stuff? Let's make more.
Faster and in the Last Stand seem to have elements of that. I mean, I could definitely see. Actually, I'll say Faster full on is one of those.
Yeah.
Last Stand, I think more had elements because it was trying to be more of just like a regular western / like Vanishing Point. But that one, like Two Guns felt a lot more kind of like a 70s like action film, So
That movie Drive with Ryan Gosling could kind of be like that. It's kind of different.
it's set right like in L.A. I think, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I don't mean like the Dusty Roads, but it kind of has that. I mean, that guy even puts the title up there, so it looks like you're watching some '80s one.
Yeah, that one's yeah. If that like took place in a desert town, yeah, but it still has a little bit of that vibe though, and I still liked that movie. It was
a pretty good one.
What I liked about it, though is how like it kind of turned on you. You're just like, okay, I guess rated R because there's like a little bit of language and someone got shot in the shoulder, and then like
all of a sudden towards the end,
then like all of a sudden like that bitch's face just blew up, and then like he impales a dude with like a shower pole, and like what the fuck?
like, oh fucking A.
Yeah, they just out of nowhere, and that's what's awesome about that movie.
That was a good one too, even though.
I shouldn't realize because he was holding like a bloody hammer on the cover on the poster for it.
Well, speaking of Marky Mark movies, fucking Pain and Gain.
Pain
speaking
and
of
Gain.
Faster, even too, The Rock. Mm-hmm. And then what the fuck's the guy name? His guy name from Monk. I always forget that guy's name.
I forget that guy's name too.
I always see him as Monk. But
Monk.
He is in other things.
Monk
too.
and the Falcon.
Yeah. But Pain and Gain, that is the one of the movies that's just. When I saw it, it was just like, cause it's so weird to say this, but I kept saying like that's like my favorite movie of the year. But it's so weird to say it because it's a Michael Bay movie. It's strange saying that because that's just I never thought that'd be something I'd say. It's like, dude, guess what my favorite movies of the year was? A fucking Michael Bay one. And there's nothing wrong with Michael Bay movies, Some of them are kind of like there was a time when I was like, you know what, fuck Michael Bay. But then you get to a point where you're like, well,
There's room for everybody.
yeah, well, yeah. And a lot of movies it's like, well, there's good stuff in them. I mean, I like Bad Boys. I like The Rock. I like The Island's pretty good. Mm-hmm. And whatever else the fuck he did.
I guess the only Michael Bay films you probably really don't like is Transformers.
Yeah, and some of the ones, I do feel like at some point I'm gonna have to sit down and just watch those again because I never saw the second, third one anyways, and just kind of go with like, okay, I know what these are now. Let's just watch them and just take them for what they are. It's clearly not gonna be my fucking '80s Transformers.
The only two Michael Bay movies, I can talk shit on Michael Bay, but really at the end of the day, the only two movies that I kind of roll my eyes at is Pearl Harbor and Transformers 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those only two I really think like.
I like Pearl Harbor. I don't think it's an amazing movie, but I do like that one, and I like Armageddon. That's another good one.
I kind of felt like because I remember like our whole family went to go see Pearl Harbor. We're walking in like all the men were like, we went there to see a war movie, not a love story.
Romance movie.
And that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I feel about that movie.
Well, it's one of those movies like you could really like skip a lot and just kind of do like a half an hour of like let's get to know these characters, and then all of a sudden it's Pearl Harbor for the next half an hour, and then for the last part it's like let's go bomb those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Titanic. Like people a lot of times just watch the end of the movie. I notice.
Yeah.
Because I remember as a kid that people would be like, well, it's like I just need the second VHS of the Titanic. I don't need the first part.
If you kind of like, if Titanic was like an hour and a half movie and you just took out like all the, I'm not trying to be a dick here. I don't hate that movie. I'm not a big fan of it. But like, if you took out all the Jack and Rose stuff and you just had some weird artsy film that was just kind of about everybody else on that ship, I think it would have been.
The Titanic would be kind of a cool movie if you did it where like you had 5 or 6 different like characters and like you go back and forth between like what each person was doing on the ship. Like maybe like here's the captain. and here's the poor guy who snuck aboard, kind of like a Leo character, and then here's the rich upper class person, and then here's a guy who has to work in the fucking steam room down below. You just gotta have each of these different things, and then here's this like rich ass like Republican guy who's like doesn't give a fuck about anybody. He's just like the bad guy of the movie.
Well, it's kind of
combined all these different things together more.
There's some really great moments, like when the captain just kind of like those really well shot, really kind of like moments to get you. When like the captain goes into the captain's deck with the steering wheel, just stands there and waits for the thing to fill up, that just bursts in and kills him. And then there's also like there's the part where, like, you know, the guy's playing the cello, the whole band up there saying it was a pleasure playing with you tonight, gentlemen. You know.
Yeah,
like those kind of scenes are really.
It is
great.
actually. It is a well-made movie, but there is that kind of like it is a romance movie. I think that's what throws people off at first. You're like, oh, Titanic romance. That my brain never put two and two together like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of how a lot of it, like Pearl Harbor romance. That my brain didn't put that together. Mm-hmm. But Pain and Gain, back around. The thing I love about this movie is like it's based off a true story. So when you see all this stuff happening, that just makes it so much better. Whenever it's a true story, you go, man, this is just fucked up. Mm-hmm. But the thing I also like too, it's like, it's sold me on the fact, it's like, oh, it's about bodybuilding, I'm already there. And when I first watched that movie, in about the first 10, 15 minutes, when Mark Wahlberg's doing his narration, explaining his life, I was like, oh fuck, that's like what my life is.
This movie gets me.
It was that movie, that's really like, where I was like, I relate, man. I relate. Very rarely do I ever really relate. I like to assume I do, but I'm like, I know I'm not Dirty Harry. I wish I was Dirty Harry, and I wish I was Batman, but this one was one of those times like, except for the fact like once you get towards the end, you're like, well, when I said I relate to the character, that was the first 15 minutes. I'm not really that guy. I mean, like, I want money, but I'm not gonna go that extreme for it.
Regardless, though, I love that movie. That was a movie like I went in thinking, oh, it's probably going to be good. But then once I actually saw it, I was like, it was way better than I thought it would be. It was almost kind of like Michael Bay doing a Coen Brothers movie. It was like a Coen Brothers type
because it's regular people in, you know, huge situations that are kind of like over the top that nobody would normally be in.
And plus, it was also kind of like...
the top off, it's a true story.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, though, is it has kind of like all the look and style of a Michael Bay movie, but it's almost kind of him taking a step back and sort of making fun of himself, I think, in some way. Because there's even a part...
The humor and everything.
The humor and saying, here's what people know me for. Let me put this into a weird drama that's stranger than fiction. And there's the part where, like, I think it blatantly says, yeah, I know my audience, is when... Which saying, it's like the...
Directed by,
and what it is it's a lady ripping her shirt open, tits, right before it says Michael Bay.
Yeah.
So...
But no, yeah, it's one of those movies I love the story. I like the characters. I like the location. And the thing that makes it really cool, I love
it was in Miami,
Rock,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Miami. And The Rock doesn't, because, you know, Rock's always kind of the serious action guy. That's how he's always played mostly. And there's nothing wrong with that character, but this one was the exact opposite. He was like a born-again Christian guy,
on and off,
a loose cannon.
He was on and off drugs the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
He was the weak link, you know. And I just love all the Christians up too, because I love just like you always have the t-shirts on. It's like, I'm with Jesus.
It's like a pink shirt too. There's like the part where he's all like, I remember he was like all dosed up and they were just hanging out at the house of the guy they just murdered. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do? They're just hanging out there, and Mark Wahlberg realized the whole thing's going to shit. He's like,
he's on the phone. He's talking about,
no. You see Rock just sitting on like a lounge chair with a bottle of booze. Did it work?
Right, no, he's like, did you get the code?
I guess also the small lines. It's kind of like, once we're done with this, we'll go camping. Okay. Okay. And they hug.
I also like the part too where like the priest guy's like, well, you know, you're all nice and sweaty. I come inside and give you some lemonade.
Up until that point, you're like, I really like The Rock. I really feel for The Rock. Up until that point, you see him just punching the guy. I don't know what happened. It just kind of...
Your muscles are nice and big and bulgy. It just like fucking goes off the handle. Oh, that was a great one.
What do we want to go on next here? Want to go on to...
You pick it, I stick it.
Okay.
I'm going to use that flea line from Son-in-Law.
Let's go with... I'm trying to see what that one is. I forgot about
Gibberish.
This. Jay and Silent Bob Super Groovy Cartoon Movie. I totally forgot about that movie.
See, I had to write that down. I think what really made that experience, though, is that...
We saw it live with Kevin Smith.
And we went to Sacramento, and it was like the third showing of that whole movie. And not only do you get to see the movie, but you get to see Kevin Smith talk. You get to see kind of like a pre-show of a little bit of animation, some Smodcast ones, and some other stuff. And then to top it all up, after you see the movie, you get a Jay and Silent Bob Get Old podcast live.
That was a pretty good experience. I feel kind of like an asshole when I listen back to that one because I'm like, the fuck's in front of me asking like 20 questions, holding it up.
Well,
really...
still there is that kind of thing. It's just like it's like you wish people were a little bit more orderly. I know that sometimes when people get a hold of a microphone, they get this like thing like king in the castle, king in the castle. Like it's like no, you sit fucking back down. We're all the same here.
Well, I know. I just felt a little like an asshole because I noticed that our views jumped up exponentially high for that one. It's like, oh, this Old Man Orange podcast. And you like then hear me just go like, these fucking assholes asking 20 questions. We drove shit. I just like.
But still, it's well. There's always these kind of things like you feel like you don't need to say these rules and there shouldn't have to be these, but it's almost like one question limit. Come on, there's other people here. You're not the only person here asking questions.
Exactly. But aside from that, though, just the movie itself was pretty funny. It's like,
you know what surprised me because I didn't know anything about what the movie was going to be about, and then when I'm going in and watching, I'm like, oh, it's the Blunt Man and Chronic comic book just expanded. Which I'm like, that's cool. Make a fucking animated movie of that. That's badass. That was the best comic book out of the Clerks comics, I guess you can say, or whatever, that Kevin Smith wrote. Which was surprising because at first I'm like, oh, Blunt Man and Chronic, it'd be funny, have a bunch of dick jokes and stuff like that. And then I just remember reading, I'm like, this is actually really good, and I was glad to see it turn into a movie.
And it was pretty good. What's cool about it to me is as two guys who do animation online. It was cool because it was made by a guy who did all the Smodimations, who's just a fan. He just said, "Oh, Kevin Smith, look, I made these. I took segments of Smodcasts and different podcasts you were on, and just did little animated segments to them. What do you think? Like, oh wow, no, start doing these professionally, and I'll even pay for you to make a movie eventually." And that's pretty awesome right there to be a fan and just actually get pulled in that way.
It's one of the coolest things you can think about.
And there's another one. I don't think they took it to the whole tour, but I think they made a Christmas one a little bit ago. I don't know if it's feature length like the other one.
I wonder because that movie still hasn't come out on Blu-ray or anything yet. So maybe when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll have all that in there and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's waiting for. Because I'm
surprised it's not
been
on Blu-ray.
it's 8 months almost.
Maybe you have to special order it only through Smodcast or something. But yeah.
Could be that.
You think it'd be big enough to sell it like in major retailers?
Yeah, it's Jay and Silent Bob. I mean, come on. Most people know who that is.
Yeah.
As far as people that are going to the movie section do.
Yeah. And that one right there, that was actually, it was a pretty, I don't know what more you could say about it. It was if you like Kevin Smith, you'll like this. Granted, I mean, Jay and Silent Bob, it's one of those things like, when I was younger, it was all about Jay and Silent Bob. Now more about kind of like Dante Randall and Brody and Holden. Like more of those kind of characters, because I think those characters have more to say at the end of the day. But Jay and Silent Bob, it's still kind of cool to go back because they still are pretty funny characters. Yeah, and it's good to see them have their own superhero movie. It makes all these nods to comic books.
Well, the thing about the movie too, it kind of is made for the Smodcast fans in general too, because there's all these little nods just throughout it that, like, if you listen to the podcast and you watch the movies and all the stuff about Kevin Smith and the gang and whatnot, that they're all kind of in there.
It was kind of fun watching the movie and just hearing it's one of the few times where it's like, no, cheer for the screen, because the people who made it are there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, too, is because, there's a live audience. You know that the fucking Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes are there, so, like, you want to see that. And then, plus, everybody there, it's not like a bunch of people stumbled in, like, what the fuck's this Jay and Silent Bob shit? Like, whatever, fucking something to do. And then spill my popcorn all over the floor.
No, there's like the part like when they're working on the blunt saber, it goes right through the room, like turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. And like Dante leans through and he's like, I'm not even supposed to be here today. It's just like those simple.
Yeah, everybody, the whole audience busts up. We're like, if that was at a regular movie theater, there'd be a couple people.
Yeah.
And everybody else would be like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck am I here watching? Fucking turn my popcorn upside down now. It would be kind of cool to see that have like a theatrical release, like a big one. But the tour thing is really cool. Like, I hope if he doesn't take Tusk on the tour, I hope that he has another movie coming out soon that will be on the tour.
I'm assuming Tusk. If I had to guess,
I wish everybody did. People should do more tours of movies. I think that's a really cool idea.
Red State, he didn't make back as much as he hoped he would, but I know his book said he made a profit with the combination of what he made for Red State. And then with like DVD sales and overseas sales,
I'm surprised he doesn't really make a profit with. I mean, I guess because he
made a profit.
I think that's the thing. It's like it's not like you're a band going on tour where like you didn't put down like $4 million that has to get paid back. You're a band. You put down maybe $1,000, so it's pretty easy to make that back on tour. Where I think of a movie, like I guess when you're doing that tour, like you're thinking the whole time like I gotta pay back the movie. That's what I'm doing with this tour.
Red State, I don't know how much he was charging per ticket. Plus, also probably depends on where you're going.
Because
I want to say
ours were like $35.
it was like $35 a ticket.
Yeah, I don't want to say like it was between 35 and you could get like $65 ones or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I mean, it's pretty packed. I mean, there had to be at least a good. How many people do you think were there? 300? More than that, maybe.
It was packed. People started kind of leaving once the movie was done. They didn't want to stay around for the Q&A for whatever reason.
They probably didn't know there was a Q&A. Some people get weird like that.
Yeah.
Even though it says it, but you know.
It kind of annoyed me because some people, because Kevin Smith has a tendency to go on and on sometimes, and he was going off on like saying kind of like, look, everyone here can be creative. Everybody here can have a podcast, and he's going off, and some people behind me are like, oh, come on. It's just like, he's being inspirational, you pricks.
Yeah, he's a motivational speaker. You shut your voice.
He matters. You don't.
Don't make us take you back outside.
So yeah,
I'll deal with you now.
that was a good flick. And I was kind of surprised about. I totally forgot about that movie.
Well, I hope it comes out because I want to share it with other people that weren't able to go to that, and until it comes out on Blu-ray or something, there's no way to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd like to see more things kind of like that. And
but that roadshow, I think that's great. I mean, wouldn't you love to see Quentin Tarantino take a movie on a roadshow, or fucking Robert Rodriguez?
I'd love to see that. I'm not sure if
Edgar Wright.
I don't know if that. I'm not sure if the Red State one was more expensive or anything, but because he said that Red State, you probably walked. I think you walked away with a T-shirt and some other stuff. But
I think you did with this one too. If you bought the upper, I think you had to get like the $85
because
one.
we were in the very back.
Well, because at first we were like, well, I'd like to have those $85 ones, but let's be reasonable in here, guys.
Yeah, exactly. And I ended up getting close to him anyway because I was waiting in the line.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't like it was that far. It wasn't like you're sitting at Shoreline looking at a band from the lawn seats. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think that's Anthony Kiedis. No, that was Flea.
And we locked. And I'm pretty sure we locked eyes for a second when he was looking at the line. So I was like, he saw me. I almost got like this, that kind of like almost like retarded fan. Like he saw me. He knows I exist to an extent. You know,
My life exists so much better now.
I kind of had this whole like I was like really nervous when I'm getting to ask him, but I realized that people are taking so long. I'm not going to ask him. That sense of euphoria kind of dropped.
Well, let's talk about another good movie. How about Elysium with Matt Damon?
I bought that movie the other day, and
I bought that for my dad for Christmas because I'm like, he really liked District 9. He likes sci-fi a lot. He'll like Elysium.
I love that flick. I think that movie's awesome. I'm a sucker for sci-fi, and when you get kind of like, what I like even more though is kind of like down and dirty, like really gritty sci-fi.
Yeah, just like that, like the world's fucking shit. All the white people moved up to space. They didn't bring Matt Damon along.
It was like the Vincent Price movie, Last Man on Earth, Last White Man on Earth.
It really is though, because when I was watching it again, I was like,
aside from his manager,
there's about 2 or 3 dark skin, sort of dark. They're not even like that dark skin. They're kind of like, well, you got enough white in him to allow him up here.
I think the president was Arabian or something.
Yeah, so he's kind of fair skinned. And then like on Earth, it's like, there's Matt Damon. Well, the guys that I sure don't count like his boss, but that's kind of like, well, he's still sort of part of the. He just has the shitty job of the space people.
The movie takes a little while.
The space people.
What I like about the movie takes a little while to get going, but it's interesting looking enough, and it's a cool enough concept alone for like the first 20 or 30 minutes where there's no real action. But then once the action starts,
it just keeps going.
It keeps
and
going.
It escalates farther and farther.
And plus, it's just like I just love the part when they pull the coup and like the 3 military guys, the psycho guys, are just walking around. They're just all like, yes, the rich people inside the like planning room. He just walks in there, flips the bird, chucks a grenade, just walks out.
The one part that makes me laugh so hard though is when it's in the beginning when they first launched those first ships. They're like, we're gonna fucking make it, and like 2 of them blow up, and the last one like crashes down, and there's just this. It just looks like as yuppie as fuck. There's this couple's like, oh gosh, honey, there's a bunch of like foreigners coming. Run now! Oh,
that's what it really does.
Don't forget the Chardonnay.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Well, because all you see is because once again, there's no white people on this ship, and they're just all running like fucking like crossing the border running, and these people are like, oh no, not all San Francisco lifestyle.
It kind of was like that right there.
We moved up here to get away from that. I didn't want to do that hip-hoppity rap up here. I just want to be with my French-speaking friends.
Some slow jazz, perhaps.
A little golf on the weekends.
Maybe a little bit of polo if I was feeling adventurous. If I do say so myself.
If I feel like getting on my old steed. My space steed, that is.
My robot space steed.
Come, robot space steed. Let's go.
But I have it set on Cal. Why is that? You
know what another really cool scene was in that movie, though? Was when Kruger. Was it Kruger or Kroger?
I think it was Kruger.
Kruger, like when he gets like his face blown up, you're like, oh, dude, he fucking just got killed. And then you realize it's like, he's not fucking dead.
Well, just putting his push like, oh, he's gonna be pissed off. You just see his face like,
Oh.
you see her like angry breathing through this fucking hole.
And
where
he's
his
still
face is-
fucking alive. It's like it didn't destroy his brain, so he's all good to go. Put him in the repair machine.
Yeah, that
Yes,
movie.
put him in the repair machine.
Some people were a little like kind of expecting a little bit more than like just explosions and death, but I'm totally fine with that because
I feel like it still had a message. It wasn't like
it had a
this-
message, but some people were almost complaining that there was like not enough message and it was more just like we just gotta blow our problems away, just shoot them all. Just like, well, we don't get a lot of movies like that anymore.
Well,
So
sometimes that works.
we don't get a lot of harsh like
As long as Matt Damon's blowing stuff up, I feel like it could work.
we don't get a lot of like harsh R-rated gritty science fiction films. I know we had Riddick, but it seems that with most science fiction films these days are really soft or usually a comic book adaptation or something. So it's really cool to see one that was just like all original, a lot of almost just just a lot of violence, a lot of action, just an old-fashioned kind of like not old-fashioned, but I guess a 90s style action movie, yet like made today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, another good sci-fi movie this year was Oblivion. That's kind of one movie.
I forgot about Oblivion.
Yeah, that's because it came out at the beginning of the year, and most people always forget when that does. But that was another good example of like, and I love that movie because I love the twist in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some twists you saw coming, but there's other ones that's just like, oh, fuck, there's more than one Tom Cruise on Earth.
You realize though, at the end of that movie, there was probably like a whole bar filled of Tom Cruise's shoulder to shoulder, like, fuck Tom Cruise 17, he got the girl,
Yeah, man, we were all placing our bets on who would get it.
Well, there's one.
We all got the property. No, dude, I didn't get fucking property. Look where I live. I'm on the fucking desert section.
Well, we all still got like the hot redhead chick. Like, shut up.
Fuck you, Tom.
What'd you say? Not you. The other time. Okay.
But that one, it had that nice kind of like, the movie starts off and you go, okay, it's, Tom's out there cleaning up Earth. Okay, that makes sense.
Man Wally.
He's Man Wally. And then as the movie goes, I just kind of like how you start getting just all this different stuff going, like, oh, I see what's going on. And now that, like, everybody else kind of fucked up Earth originally, and then Tom gets been here, sent here, and then you realize there's this kind of resistance group hanging out here, and Tom Sines will go off on vacation to his, like, log cabin.
And playing Creedence Clearwater and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, and throwing the baseball back and forth, or... They have baseball in that? Maybe not.
I think he had a basketball.
He had something. He had a baseball cap. Maybe that's where I'm getting the baseball. He had a baseball cap on. He must play baseball, right?
There's actually... Well, I kind of
Like when you see a kid on a string, like he's got a Yankees hat on. Oh, you must play for the Yankees, don't you?
I like,
Why would you wear that cap if you didn't?
fucking throw me
What,
off.
they
It's like,
just give them out to anybody nowadays?
just having an identity crisis here. No, but like, I thought it was actually cool because what I was expecting was, okay, I was almost imagining kind of an Elysium kind of thing. Like all the evil rich people live on this space station and they're keeping everybody else oppressed down on Earth. And then I was like, oh, that's not the case. It's like Brainiac from Superman or something like that. It's kind of just
controlling. It's a robot that's watching over everything, but they disguise as a human.
Yeah. That's what I thought was pretty cool.
And then Tom figures it out. And Tom goes to save the day. It actually kind of has a very similar thing to like Elysium because like they both fly up to space and destroy it.
Someday they want to go to that place up there.
Yeah, and they go up there and go, fuck it, let's destroy it. You always want to come here, then why'd you destroy it? Well, I don't know.
Well, Elysium, you just like, let's make it open to everybody.
Yeah.
They're gonna die.
It's like, well, yeah. Where it is, and they blow up everything in Oblivion, right?
Oblivion, they blew
It's been
the
like
thing
a
up.
year's listening to that one by now almost.
They blew the thing up in Oblivion because it was just the evil space colony.
Yeah, the
was-
Space Brainiac.
Space Brainiac, yeah. So.
But that was another good one. Mm-hmm. Is there any other... Fuck else is there? Let's look at the list.
It's a long-ass list. Why don't you turn this light on if you don't mind?
Yeah, it's getting darker. I can't even see the list. You know what's another good one, though? Was Robert De Niro's The Family.
That's another one I forgot about. I enjoyed it. Truth be told, I don't remember it that well, but I remember liking it. That's all I can really say.
Well, it was just kind of... I like...
The
It was
dark
just like he was in
comedy.
witness protection. They were sitting in all kinds of places. Robert De Niro always somehow, some way ended up fucking it up, so they had to send him somewhere else. And then it was like an action comedy drama, I guess you could say too. Mm-hmm. And the thing I like about it though, since it was a family movie, all the characters were all good. Because sometimes family movies you can be like, well, Robert De Niro's good, but his wife's a bitch and his kids are fucking annoying. But no, every character was good in their own way.
Tommy Lee Jones, I remember, was kind of funny. He was just
Tommy Lee
he's
Jones
playing
is good,
Tommy
too.
Lee Jones, really, but
Yeah.
The one line I remember when they were watching Goodfellas. He's just like, "Look, I'd love to stay here and watch your home movies with you, but."
Well, I just like it's like Robert De Niro is like the ex-mobster, and he's under witness protection. And then at some point, some way, I think who fucks up, the daughter or somebody like that.
I think what happened. No, it's all come back to me now. Actually, the son wrote a. He was working for the school paper, and he wrote something. He wrote a phrase that like the old time mobster, the original mobster heard. And somehow, through like a freak accident, it got passed from person to person to person to person to person until it reached him in prison. It was like wrapped in something. He's like, "Oh, it's in French," and they saw the name written by, and it was the same first name as the kid, but he's like
different last name.
Different last name, and then like he saw the phrase, which I want to say was a very generic phrase. Like, how would you just? He's got all the time in the world. Like, check it out.
He's in prison,
Check it out just to be safe, I guess you could say.
He really wanted to find De Niro.
And then, well, what's cool about it was it just kind of became like, it wasn't just kind of like, shoot, you're dead. It actually turned into like an action movie, the last 20 minutes of it, which was pretty cool.
And then even Michelle Pfeiffer did a really good job in it, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, and the daughter did a really good job.
The one dumb thing I thought about,
the daughter towards the end, though, she got kind of that weird, like...
The one thing I thought was just kind of really stupid was just the part where... this is like the only thing.
She falls for the douchey French kid.
She falls for the pretty boy douchey guy, and then like as soon as he breaks her heart, she's about to kill herself. But it's like she was such a hard ass the whole movie, not a pushover, nothing at all.
All of a sudden, it's just like, oh, some French guy
broke my heart.
Me.
And and it's just like, really, you just kind of everything else you did throughout this whole movie. Now you're about to kill yourself, but then
she changed her mind pretty quickly on that. But...
Yeah, she saw like the bad guy's car or something.
Yeah,
so.
She's like, well, I guess I can't kill myself now.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny because that movie is made by Luc Besson, and it's pretty much a French movie, but it kind of makes, like, the French people are all kind of, like, look like dicks throughout the movie.
How can we sell this to Americans?
Yeah, Americans don't like French, so, like, we know how to sell it really well. Fucking put Robert De Niro in it, Michelle Pfeiffer, and they'll just make all the other French people around him kind of assholes.
Kind of was that way, but yeah. I guess, I wonder how French people think of that movie. I wonder if they just dub over and just make everybody else look... They make
I'm Robert De Niro, look at me, I'm American,
There's like an alternate cut where they're just being pricks or something, they die at the end.
Yeah, it's just these guys are fucking horrible people, and the French people are just like, God, these guys are just giving a shit.
Like when like the French people are talking like shit about like... When they're talking shit to them, like, and they have subtitles talking shit... Real life, they're actually saying, "Oh, they look so nice." If it's just for the American audience, they just put up some shitty subtitles.
Well, look at that fucking asshole over there. Let's go kick his ass. And then just cuts to like the daughter beating up those guys.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we just want to give you some flowers. Yeah. A housewarming gift.
Exactly. That's all the thing is.
Another good movie from the beginning of the year that I liked a lot was The Olympus Has Fallen.
I
know you didn't like that one nearly as much.
Here's the one movie I think we're going to disagree on. I'll say this. There are things in Olympus Have Fallen I liked. I just didn't really care for it because it just didn't...
It wasn't your type of movie.
It wasn't my type of movie. I mean, let me put it this way.
To me, I liked it so much because I was like, oh, dude, it's just like Air Force One pretty much. That was like, when I saw that, I'm like, it's like that style of movie. It's that 90s action movie. Not the 80s action movie, but the 90s action movie.
I think the thing is, well, Air Force One, in my opinion, it didn't really... seem that cheesy to me. It actually had a lot more of kind of like...
Well, Olympus Has Fallen didn't really seem that cheesy to me.
I guess it seemed...
It had like a little bit of like the kind of like one-liners and things like that. But it's sort of like, I like that in my action movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been like 2 years, 2 or 3 years since I last saw Air Force One, but even 4 years. But Air Force One was one of those movies when I saw it, it was like... I remember it being, it was like a total 90s action movie. And maybe if I watched it now, it might seem a little cheesy. I don't remember it seeming that cheesy.
Because to me, that's... I grew up watching movies, so that might change it. Sometimes when you grow up with something, that makes a bigger difference than like when you see it later on in life.
But I guess this one just seemed kind of like where... Air Force One, it just seemed like, oh, he happens to be president, and yeah, it's like a patriotic movie. But this one seemed to have like, we're so patriotic, and it's almost kind of like... It almost felt kind of comical to a certain extent, especially since like Aaron Eckhart the whole time is like, you won't get the code from me, like... Okay, put a gun to this guy. Said, okay, wait. I'll tell you. And then it gets down to one person. Like, he's the last person they gotta get the code from. He's like, you won't get it from me. He's like, apparently all you do is just like twist the president's arm. Do you just have stab him? No, you just had to twist his arm long enough, and he'd eventually tell you. It's kind of like, oh, okay, well let's just launch this fucking bitch then. And that's kind of like the thing I really liked. I really liked that part where they have the plane come in. They could have just said. They don't really explain it so much. They could have said EMP fired off and gave him like a 10-minute window to fly in. Or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
But that aside, though, logic aside, it was still a cool scene where the plane was coming in, just firing down.
Just yeah, Washington.
The missiles that shot out of the. Actually, I don't know why they didn't use the missiles when they were first invading the the White House. But
It's one of those movies. It's to me, it's not like it's made like perfect as you know. It doesn't have plot holes and stories like that. What I like about it is I'm like it gives me action that I like.
Mm-hmm.
I like the story a lot because it kind of reminds me of like that Red Dawn type thing, and that's one of my favorite style of stories. And then I like the characters in it mostly, and it just kind of like it was overall it just reminded me of, like what I really like in a movie. Mm-hmm. Like to me that really defined. It was like and the thing is I guess I don't see that style of movie anymore.
Yeah,
they haven't made a movie like that for a long time.
I guess that's why I kind of liked Elysium, because even though it was a science fiction film, it was that type of like action kind of movie. You know what I mean?
Elysium?
Yeah.
Well, Elysium
First
felt like
20 or 30 minutes.
I say Elysium feels like it builds up into that style of movie.
Yeah.
Where this one almost starts off pretty quickly that, you know, it's action movie. You know, there is that. I mean, there's always a little bit of talk in the beginning.
It's not a movie that I hated or anything. I wouldn't even say I disliked it. It just didn't really wow me. That's all it really is.
Yeah, it's just to me, it's like, I was like, oh my god, that is my type of movie. Still surprised I haven't bought it yet, but I like it a lot.
I was almost, when I saw on the list, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen when we get to this? I was afraid.
You're like there's always those kind of movies. It's kind of like,
I wasn't going to like try and tell.
I know here's a movie that you like that like I didn't see, but it's like I sort of would like to see it, but there's like the one element in it that really bothers me, and it's this is the end.
This is the end.
If it's like the Seth, it's like that. I think the concept sounds good, and I like 90% of the people in it, but it's the Seth Rogen aspect. There's two actors and actresses out there that I really just don't like, and it's Seth Rogen and Scarlett Johansson. And I will put up sometimes with these actors just because there's a movie I want to see. But there also gets to a point where science is just like, fuck. So like Scarlett Johansson's really getting to the point now. It's just like stop being in fucking movies that I want to see.
I'm at the point where Seth Rogen doesn't automatically sell a movie for me, but he doesn't deteriorate me from seeing a movie. This is a movie also. He wrote and directed it with Evan Goldberg, which is the guy who did who's the guy who wrote with him Pineapple Express and Superbad. And I like both those movies.
And seeing those two movies, I did enjoy. It's not like I didn't. You know, there's things in Pineapple Express that like, and I think this is what always kind of bothered me about Seth Rogen. Sort of is like he writes himself as being this really cool like guy. I mean, there's funny stuff that happens to him, but like you see, it's like okay, you're like a middle-aged, overweight guy. Does he wear glasses in that one?
He might. I
can't remember if he did or not. It's like one of those ones, and you write yourself in like you date the hottest chick at high school.
Well, at the end of the movie, though, it kind of writes it in that like he's that's a mistake. He's like, what the fuck are we doing? Why am I doing
it
this?
writes it in there, but just when you just kind of see that, it's just like, really? I don't know. He just the attitude he has. It just reminds of that kind of attitude in life. You see that with other people where they think they're like the coolest guy ever, and it's just kind of like that attitude, kind of like no.
To me, well, he always writes himself as kind of like a fuck up who's like having trouble with life most of the time, and most like.
I guess it's. I'm not saying it's not like bad things happen to him, but he just in a lot of his movies I've seen, because I haven't seen all his movies. I'm not gonna say I've seen all his movies. I've only seen about like 3 of them, but like in every single one I've ever seen, is just he always seemed like the cool, funny middle-aged guy. And I guess he hasn't always been middle-aged, but
even though he wrote him, he's always been he just came out middle-aged.
I'm like, well, what movie was he young in? I'm like, fuck. He was sort of maybe young and like.
I liked him in Zack and Miri. I thought he did good in that. I don't know how you feel about that movie now, but
you know that's one of those movies. It's the only Kevin Smith movie I don't own. I own every other Kevin Smith movie, but I don't own that one. And I don't know if there is like that subconscious thing that's in there. It's like, well, it's got Seth Rogen in it. It's Kevin Smith, but which the Kevin Smith part definitely outweighs the Seth Rogen part and everything else in it, but.
Well, it's also, I think that, Seth Rogen, I've heard him in interviews, and he seems very much kind of like, the way how he talks, he says, like, he seems fully aware. He's like, look, I'm not an amazing actor. There's a couple of dramatic movies that I was in, and I'll generally take most scripts people give me because I'm just flattered they fucking want me in them. But I was in this one, I think it was called Take This Waltz. I didn't see the movie, but he was like, I was in this one movie called Take This Waltz. It was about a bad breakup, and even though I liked doing it, it was like, I can't imagine having a full career about that, because that was a very that was a very serious, very bleak movie, and I don't know if I'm good enough to have a career like that. So I'm just gonna do what I like to do, which is make comedies with my friends, and just seeing how straightforward he was. Like I don't know how long it's gonna last. But I'm gonna try and make as many movies as I can because he was on like Nerdist and Mark Maron one time, and he seemed pretty like well rounded and all that. I kind of see what you're
He's
saying.
probably like a fine guy. Also. I guess
I'm not trying to
another
talk
movie that really bothered me that was The Fanboys. That was because that movie was like made originally, and they kept going back and reshooting or whatever, and like because that movie took forever to come out. It was supposed to come out, and then next thing you know, it was like 4 years later, it finally came out. And I just remember, like, first he was in there once. It's like, oh, okay, so he's in here once. And then by the time you're at the end of the movie, like, he's in there 3 fucking times, that movie fucking hog. It's like, it's not even his movie. He wasn't really originally supposed to be in it.
For all we know, that they asked him, or I don't really think. I know you and Cisco have this idea that
I just
he
picture him coming in
elbowed
like
his way
movie
in.
hogging himself in there. You're making a movie about Star Wars? Well, I'm fucking in it.
I don't see that happening. I believe they
I
probably
guess
just asked him back.
it's like there's nobody else in that movie that has 3 fucking characters that are all different. Mm-hmm. He's the only one. I think if he just had one, just make him either the Star Trek geek, that's fine. Keep it at that. Mm-hmm. But
No, I get you. Well, I was just waiting to get this at the end because we were talking about Seth Rogen, but not the actual movie. That movie was good because, well, first off, going on Seth Rogen, for instance, he has some funny lines, but he doesn't really paint himself that well in the movie. He actually paints himself as a bit of a problem in the movie, as well as, and I kind of like that he's able to do that.
Who's all that's in that movie other than Seth Rogen?
It's
because we clearly know he's in
there's a bunch of people at the ending. There's a bunch of people at the beginning, but they all die. The ones that threw out the movie, it's Jay Baruchel, who is like the guy from Fanboys, like the really nerdy guy from Fanboys, who ends up getting with Chris.
It just says the guy's also Tropic Thunder.
He's also Tropic Thunder. I was gonna say the guy who ends up getting with
the really nerdy guys in Fanboys.
I was gonna say the guy who ends up getting with Veronica Mars, whatever her real name is. I forgot. Anyway, Jay Baruchel, Craig Robinson.
Got the beard.
That's the black dude who's in. Yeah, he's the black dude who's in a bunch of the J.
Was he in the Hot Tub Time Machine?
He was in Hot Tub
and
Time
he's
Machine.
in Zack and Mary.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You have James Franco, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, and Danny McBride.
Yeah, Danny McBride. There we go.
There might be another one in there, and everybody else just kind of has a cameo or dies at the beginning, pretty much. But that movie's it's funny because what's good about it. It is a funny movie, but even the parts that aren't really funny, at least it's interesting enough to see where the story goes. Because the
concept I think is fantastic.
No, there's not very many movies that are set during the biblical apocalypse, and if it is like, oh, everyone got pulled to heaven or whatever. But this one, it's like, no, there's like fucking demons and monsters running around, and it's kind of a horror comedy because they barricade themselves inside the house. Most of the movie takes place inside the house. They're just barricading themselves in, and they're trying to kill boredom during the apocalypse. And every so often, they have to go outside to go to the neighbor's house to get food or water or something.
Yeah.
And it is a pretty funny movie, and it's actually kind of one of those cases where I don't think you need to be a Judd Apatow fan to enjoy it. Because
Judd Apatow, mostly, that's always like, when I hear the name Judd Apatow, I'm kind of like, well, I don't know if I want to go that direction.
And this is a case where...
And I'm not saying that there's movies I've seen that I did like by him, but when I hear it, it's like, that's probably not my style of comedy.
No, I get you. And this is a case where it does work. There is some pretty... the parts that are actually kind of dramatic and meant to be sincere, they actually feel very sincere and very, there's even like Jonah Hill. What's funny about him is throughout the whole movie, Jay Baruchel's like, I fucking hate Jonah. It's like, why do you hate Jonah? He's like the nicest guy. Like, nobody's that nice. He is intentionally trying to fuck with me. Like, dude, you're being an asshole. Stop, knock it off. And Jonah Hill's always going up to him, always being so ridiculously nice to him. And then like, as soon as like Jonah Hill gets alone for a moment, he then goes like, dear God, please kill Jay. I hate him so fucking much. I want him to die, And
Jonah Hill I love. I would see it for him and some of the other people.
Mm-hmm. Then he ends up getting raped by a demon and gets possessed, and it becomes like... It's like they make an homage to Rosemary's Baby, but like you see the demon crawling on top of him has this giant fucking cock. Then they even take footage of Rosemary's Baby, like from the eyes, like this must be a dream. He wakes up with scratches, and then like he later like it's like there's a whole homage to Exorcism. So it's a lot of like these satanic horror films they make nods to throughout the movie.
But yeah, it's one of those ones. It's interesting. I like the concept. I like everything about it. It's just it's the Seth Rogen factor, and somehow, some way, I don't know what it is. I'll be like, I should see that. But then it's almost like you go to click it on, like, I probably haven't gotten this far yet, but like you go to like click it on Netflix, you're like, maybe another time.
I'll buy it eventually. It's a movie I would like to own. When I do it, I'll let you borrow it. Let me know then.
Well, here's another movie that's kind of a forgotten piece because I think it was like the first big movie to come out in the year last year. It was The Lone Survivor of 2013. Not really, but it just, I mean, because it was the first. Big
I was
movie
like,
to come out.
there's another movie called Lone Survivor. You just had me going like, what?
No, it was
For a
Gangster
minute.
Squad.
Oh yeah, Gangster Squad.
Because that came out like right in the beginning of January. You know, Ryan Gosling, fucking W,
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin,
W.
Sean Penn,
The guy.
Emma Stone.
The guy from, he was the nerdy guy in Argo, and he was the creepy guy in Ted. It was also He was also in Killing Him Softly.
Yeah, you're right.
That guy. He's really good.
Yeah, he was really good, and that was a great movie too. I like that, and I love the intro too. It starts off, what's Sean Penn doing? He's like
Ripping a dude in
interrogating this guy, and then they're like, "Fuck that guy! I got his information." They have two 1940s cars, and they just pull off and just rips this guy in half right in the beginning. Nice gore. Pans up, you're at the Hollywood land sign, and that's the start of the movie.
I haven't seen that movie since the theaters.
Yeah, I know. It's like this movie's literally a year since I've seen it, but I liked it a lot. To me, it just had like, it's one, you don't see that kind of like, in a sense, that LA Noir style story too often, excluding LA Noir recently. And I always feel like that LA Noir game must have been the reason why a movie like this went through. They're like, well, this is popular. Kind of like that Michael Bay's Black Flag thing.
Or like how
And it's kind of like, well, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag's popular.
people are gonna say. People might not disagree with me on this one, but kind of like how Battlefield Los Angeles, I think what Poe brought that on was a Call of Duty in some way.
And that's also why I feel like Act of Valor was kind of like that too. Like, because when the way that movie was shot, it was shot like there's a lot of first person angles. Like, so it's like it's clearly made for like the Call of Duty fan. And that and the War Vet guy was like, "You guys did a great job. Now fucking pour your popcorns out. Let's get the fuck out of here." These guys, they work for minimum wage.
What brings those two together? The guy that actually lived through it, and then the guy, not like Battlefield Los Angeles, but the guy that lived through it, and then the guy who says like, I can do that too, because I have a headset and an Xbox controller.
My headset from Turtle Beach is what I use. With my headset, I can do anything. Unless my dad comes home and beats me naked.
That's one of my favorite South Park episodes. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
Remember that time we told that kid his dad was gonna come in and beat him naked? And Clyde's like, did he like gets alone with him? Like, did it tell you guys it was gonna come in and like beat you naked? Like, no, why? He's like, I don't know. Just like quiet, looking around.
But that was one of the ones that's like, I really need to see that movie again to explain like exactly what happened. It was something police officers had to go off on their own and fight crime against Sean Penn.
And that was being just kind of, it was very straight, because I notice a lot of times when they do like an LA noir films, even though I do like dramas, they usually play it off like a serious drama with a handful of action scenes.
This one had a lot of action.
This was an action movie.
And it had a lot of violence.
And it had no problem letting you know that. And that's what was cool about it.
And yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
I enjoyed that flick. I want to say real quick though, even though it's like a year later, it's literally a year later, I feel bad because that when we did that podcast, it was just a weird day for me, and Marley was on that one, and I felt like a total asshole to Marley. That's like the one podcast I heard myself like, you're being a total prick to Marley. What's wrong with you? I don't know.
Were you like poking him with a stick or something?
No, he would say something, I guess the joke.
He says something fucking him like, no, you fucking ass.
Like, get in the corner. Know your place.
Cap on.
No, it was more, I think he just said a joke that I didn't think was that funny or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, just kind of like really correcting him a lot. Just one of those, it was like one of the only
Maybe it's like he was off, you were angry.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I was
tied up. It wasn't my fault, man. I was fucking just there, man. It was just part of the action.
It was the episode we were actually recording in the gym, not like in the back room. That
that was the time where like you're explaining where you're like, this fucking shit, because there's this like lady right behind you, like
doing like pull-ups.
70 years old, doing like crunches or something.
No, I was talking about like I remember that actually. I was talking about like a part of the movie, and like somebody was getting stabbed. I remember I made the motion of someone getting stabbed in the face. Like, dude, there's someone right behind you. Like, oh, hello.
You know? I remember there's a lot of swearing involved too, and you're like yelling.
I was like, I'm like, yeah. I'm more of a day guy when I go to the gym, so I don't know those people.
Yeah, they don't know me. Fuck them. You know what's another good movie that's kind of, I feel like, might be under the radar for some people, but might appear in other award things, was Blue Jasmine.
That was a really good one, yeah. I really liked Blue Jasmine.
You know, Woody Allen, once again, delivers another good picture. As always, you can mostly never go wrong with his movies. And I love all the characters they just had and all the actors, which I mean that's classic Woody Allen. He's like the originator of the talkie picture almost.
A lot of times I feel like you can kind of watch a Woody Allen-esque movie and just feel kind of like bored because it's like, for instance, his movies just are people talking, and they're not always comedies. Like this movie was, I don't even know if I call this movie wasn't a comedy. I think it was just more of a straight drama.
Well, a lot of his movies they're never like full on like get ready for the Woody Allen comedy experience. They're more like drama movies that have funny stuff strung throughout it.
Yeah, and this, I feel bad saying this is the only Woody Allen movie I've seen, but I really did enjoy it, and it kind of, to me, I think he's one of those people going off this movie because it sounds like a very bare bones, very kind of. If someone just told me the plot, I'd be like, whatever. Okay, so this chick who's used to being rich is now trying to get back on her feet after her husband embezzled a bunch of money, and she's some yuppie bitch who has no appreciation for anybody.
And it's Kate Blanchett and her husband's Alec Baldwin.
And it's told through flashbacks. I'm like, I don't really know how fucking interesting that movie can be. And then, but the way how he directs it, how well he wrote it, and how well he instructed on how then to act, I think it came out really good. Because he could almost find a way,
The string characters you don't like.
Yeah, because, well, the thing about it is, he could, I'm only going off this one movie, and I'm more assuming, just given this one movie and how long he's been making these type of pictures, he could, I think your average person, when they make a movie with just two people talking, it's very straight, bare bones, kind of like what's on the screen, what they're saying, what's written. Him, it seems like through the acting and through just pronunciation, he can almost give it more layers. Like, you kind of, with them saying something, you can see their ulterior motives. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, Woody Allen, like, his movies, they really are the movies about nothing. Like, a lot of his movies have no plot. They have no right or reason. It's more like you almost just kind of, you get the snippet of someone's life. That's how they always kind of feel, you know? And also, I've heard that, like, when Woody Allen directs people, he never tells the actors how to, like, act. He just says, like, fucking, you do the lines. You'll get it.
Really?
Yeah. He's very free-willed. He's not, like, one of those kind of guys who's going to be like, no, say it this way. It this way.
I heard Jason, I think maybe it depends on certain scenes or what happens, because Jason Biggs, he was on
Well,
a podcast.
he probably, like, says, like, hey, do that again, you know, or try it with this. He's not, like, probably just sits there and goes, like, make that camera roll. Fucking somebody get me a beer. I'm fucking Woody Allen here. I make magic.
Well, Jason Biggs one time said, he was like on this one podcast he used to listen to, and he was talking.
Awesome, Jason Biggs. I haven't seen him forever.
And he was talking.
Like I know, like he lives down the street, but you know what I mean? Like, when was the last time he was really in a big movie?
American Pie 4.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
That was kind of. Yeah, that was sort of like it came out, it was a good movie, and it was kind of like forgotten though.
Yeah, I forgot about it until I mentioned Jason Biggs.
Yeah, I'm like,
oh yeah, he was in something.
Oh yeah, main character.
But he was talking on a podcast and he was saying, because he's like, it was the first time I was playing the Woody character in a Woody Allen movie that wasn't Woody, and he was saying that like it was a lot to put on. He said like some things Woody Allen would be very like, oh yeah, do what you want, but there'll be other scenes where he's like, no, he has you down right to the enunciation of a word.
I can see that when it's kind of like his characters, because nowadays, like Woody Allen, he's not really in movies anymore, and you can always tell when you watch, you're like, that's the Woody Allen character. You can always mostly find which one it is. It's kind of like Midnight in Paris, like Owen Wilson, he's the Woody Allen character in the movie. I mean, it's just like how Woody Allen would be in any of his older movies.
Would you say Blue Jasmine had a Woody Allen character? Would you say the closest thing with the Kate Blanchett character, maybe?
You know, that one might be one of the few ones, like, I'd have to watch it again to really find it out, because that one's kind of, like, Kate Blanchett's kind of the main one.
And she's not like...
And that character doesn't really feel Woody Allen whatsoever.
I don't mean that because out of the yuppiness. I mean that more just out of the socially awkwardness.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, no, because Woody Allen's he doesn't have that socially awkwardness. When you watch his movies, he's like this really cool guy.
Oh, okay.
That happens to just look really Jewish.
Okay.
And, you know, he always knows what he's kind of like saying. It's not like, you know, he's the guy he gets by in life by talking. That's just his thing. Yeah.
Okay. I need to see more of his pictures.
Yeah, I have a handful of them upstairs. A lot of Woody Allen movies I don't own. I just kind of watch, but I do have a couple of them upstairs.
But going back to what I said, just to clarify, because I think the way he said, like, well, that's acting in general. But I think he's one of those people where he can present a scene that would seem ultimately bland and very generic, but the way how he could direct it, just because he's been making these kind of movies for like 30 plus years, he can almost make that scene seem more, there's like more to it, more layered than what it would just be on paper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. What do we have next?
I was trying to read, I was fucking reading this, like, what the fuck does that, oh, it says Grudge Match.
Grudge Match was a good one.
Grudge Match was great. De Niro versus Stallone. I feel kind of like I know we talked about this one like only like 2-3 podcasts ago. So it's like we get some of this one up probably quicker than normal, but you know, it really gives you what
Bull
you've
versus
always
The
wanted.
Rock.
Yeah, it's Raging Bull versus Rocky, R versus R, and it's two actors I love a lot: Robert De Niro, Stallone, and that combination of like, it's got action in it, and it's got comedy in it, but it's also filled with drama. I like that.
The drama
it's
part-
got the heart in it.
The actual drama didn't feel like it was something there. Just all right, put it in there just so we can say we have some drama. It actually did feel pretty sincere in certain moments, and at the same time, it was also something that I thought it was also cool seeing De Niro as the asshole character, because you're used to seeing De Niro just kind of like the guy, arms crossed, kind of like, I don't know about this, yada yada. Eventually,
Joe
he
Pesci's
freaks.
most of the asshole character in the movie.
Eventually, De Niro will freak out on somebody, but this one, he's the showboat, he's the asshole.
Uh-huh.
And this one, it was just Stallone.
Stallone's still the underdog kind of guy.
Yeah, and that's what I
But
like.
that's what people like about Stallone, is that underdog character. That's what he plays really well.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's one of those movies, it could really almost be Rocky 7. It could be. It could be some strange, like, you know, this was this match that just for some reason was never recorded back in the day. Before Apollo.
This could be like the very, like... This could be like the second really successful kind of like cross like franchise film right here.
Yeah, it really almost could be.
Because I think the only
So
really
Raging Bull's like a period piece movie.
I know still, but I'm saying I'm still saying like because the only I think the only really successful cross franchise film I think was Avengers, the one that was really successful that everybody
It's
likes.
funny because to me, I don't think of it like as a cross franchise. Like, well, they all come from the same fucking place, but I know that people who don't know who the Avengers are, like that kind, because I always feel like here's a perfect example. I think to me is like what I would say a real cross franchise film is Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Because that's two different
Alien
companies
versus
too.
Predator.
Yeah, well, because I'm thinking because like Nightmare on Elm Street is not Warner Bros. But fucking
Lionsgate.
no, it's the company that Warner Bros. Bought. The
New
Ninja-
Line.
Yeah, New Line, because that's that, and then I want to say Paramount does the Friday the 13th movies. So to me, that's a real like double crossover. Mm-hmm. And then yeah, Alien versus Predator, because Predator's a Fox. No,
They're both Fox.
They're both Fox movies too.
I'm just thinking just two separate stories that all come by with that. But I think that but you're right though, this could actually be its own right here if they just change the names around. Or,
Yeah, I know. It's very close to being. It could almost be a
in
Rocky
all honesty
movie.
though, it doesn't bother me now that I think about it that it's not a crossover because
Oh yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be a Rocky movie. That's totally fine.
Well, I'm thinking I like Alan Arkin. I know that he's a classic character, but I like Alan Arkin so much more than Paulie.
Oh yeah.
Hey, rock. I just, yeah.
Well, the thing about Paulie's is the farther he gets like in the movies, it's just like he gets to the point where it's just like he's that guy that fucking Rocky's gotta take care of him because I got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Give me a sex robot. I'm gonna fuck it and drink with it.
Oh, by the way, I made you broke. I embezzled all you guys' money into something that went bad.
Yeah, my bad.
Can I crash on your couch?
What? You can do another fight. You're young enough. You're in good shape. I mean, look at me. If I swung my belly, I'd probably fall over.
Boy, my hands are fucking shaking after I punched that Russian in the face. Ah, you'll get through it fine. Just train some young kid.
Bring that robot over here. He's not moving fast enough. I needed something to fuck. I bought that for my son. Well, he can watch me fuck it. Hey, you fuck my sister, I fuck your son's robot. We're even. No,
Why does Uncle Paulie get to like make all these demands? I mean, he doesn't even really live here. He just kind of walks in the house every day and.
yeah, he doesn't pay rent. Never put a single dime down. Never even like lifted a finger for anybody.
Well, you know, he's Paulie, so I'm gonna.
Well, it was in the original contract.
Turns out, isn't that right, Adrian? All right, she's dead.
And he's still fucking here.
If like Rocky 7 is just like Rocky like creeping over like Paulie like sleeping with a pillow and just like suffocating him, just like a 5-minute thing. Rock, no, just like slapping him, just trying to like suffocate
For
him.
your own good.
Makes us all happy, you know, just holding down the pillow. That's all it would need right there. That's all I would need to see for Rocky 7.
Yeah. Rocky...
Or he just kicks the shit out of Paulie, like, in the basement for, like...
That's the opening.
That's like, this is the final match. He's just, like, socking Paulie. Like, Paulie's like, what are you doing, Rock? Just socking him. Just, like, this light just swinging back and forth, like, kind of, like, flickering on and off in this wooden basement.
And then right when he's done, he turns around, the light falls and shatters, and just goes, Rocky 7.
You realize his life is perfect without Paulie. No
It
problems
is.
at all, really.
Well, let's go into a movie that's sort of a dramedy of a sense. American Hustle.
That was a really good flick.
That was good. I see that it's kind of the movie it seems to begin like the biggest praise out of all the movies. Which to me it's like, it was a really good movie. I liked it a lot. But with Science Point, it's like, you guys saw the other movies, right? Like, I mean, it was good, but I don't know if it's nearly as good as some of the other ones. Like, this one, just look at those Oscars and awards and all that kind of stuff.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, what I did like about it was I thought it was going to be a drama with just a little bit of comedy, but it was
It actually was strung with comedy throughout.
And it's just the small things throughout it, just things you usually wouldn't see in a standard drama. Just kind of like right after, like, Bradley Cooper kicks the shit out of Louis C.K. and he's giving his testimony. He's like, Bradley Cooper's like, wait, guys, I got this idea. The guy's like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like, Louis C.K.'s
He's like, whoa, can I finish my testimony here? I mean, come on.
Oh, we'll get back to it. Don't worry about it, man. Anyway, going on. Just how, like, it just, like, there's enough comedy in there that you could only really call the movie a comedy. You can still, like, dramedy, comedy, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think there's enough comedy in it where you have to set that with a comedy.
I know. Yeah, because like it was one, but it has enough that it could kind of go in both. But then there's also there's just great scenes in it too, like the part where Jeremy Renner, where like Christian Bale comes like fucking tell Jeremy Renner, it's like,
this is funny to you and me, but really this is probably like the one most serious part of the whole movie.
But he's like, dude, I gotta fucking tell you, you've been set up by the police this whole time or whatever and stuff. It's like you're not gonna become mayor. And it's just like. His whole family's there, and they all have like this fucking sort of like Brady Bunch thing. They're like all kind of like standing on the stairs looking down. And there's like the one black kid that's.
I really want to.
And it's just like Chris Bale's like, I'm fucking sorry, man. And the Dream just starts hitting him and punching him. He's like, you fucking ruined my life. The mom's like, what's going on? What's going on here?
What I really want to do. I don't know if I will. This is because we always talk about things we want to do, but there's only so much time we have. When this movie comes out on DVD, just for this reason, I'd like to get it. I'd like to rip the audio from that and do an animated segment
of Batman
getting beaten by Hawkeye. Just see that? That's what you took from me. That you see the Avengers all like sitting on like the staircase, looking like really serious. Like, well, Hawkeye's getting into a fight. Like Batman's crying, gets into a car with Lois Lane.
Gets out.
Yeah. And not like movie versions of them, just like the comic book
Yeah,
versions.
like just like the only thing.
So it's kind of like it's like Hawkeye just beat Batman. No one
Batman
saw
was
that.
crying with Hawkeye together.
I want to see that now.
Lois Lane drove Batman away.
Another thing, I think the best part of that movie was actually Jennifer Lawrence. I think she did
a really good job.
Because she was generally at first like, oh, this is gonna be the unlikable, stupid character. Well, but then she was very likable. She was really funny. She just like she'd have stupid qualities about her, but those almost made her in some way made her more charming.
And it was something that's like, because I've seen so many movies where a character like that, you'd be like, I know I'm gonna hate it. I will say this: Martin Scorsese sometimes has been known to write women characters like that, where you're like, I fucking hate that character. Like in some of his movies, like we could say Casino, maybe even Raging Bull. Like there's a lot of like his movies have like that woman character that's just like she has no lovable features. She's just all evil.
Even though this is a big of a character, I almost thought she was going to be something like kind of like that, or like the back to Martin Scorsese, the sister-in-law that ultimately gets Henry in jail at the end of Goodfellas by just don't do this, don't fucking do this, don't use the phone, don't call this number. It's like
she fucking
whatever, hangs up and does it. But I thought she was gonna be like, even though she does something as stupid as that, but still at the end of the day, you end up liking that character.
Well, she has like a reason, like for the action she does. It's like, well, yeah, those for your own good. Like she pulls one of those cards. It wasn't like, well, fuck you kind of thing.
Yeah, and then like, even like the thing's funny, like she like. When, like, there's just a part like, yeah, I had an accident the other day. She looks kind of like partially like a little drunk. She has the neck brace, a cigarette, picking the kid up from school. And just doing things like, don't put things in the science oven, yada yada, whatever. Just slams the door.
You destroyed our fucking science oven. That was a gift.
Oh, he'll buy you another fucking science oven. It doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah, it's funny because I think that's what makes a character good is when you can take a character that in every other movie you've ever seen is a character you hate that almost sometimes slightly ruins the movie for you, and then make that character like character was charming. I enjoyed that character a lot. That's fucking awesome.
The highlight of the movie, really.
Yeah.
So,
but that one was I liked it a lot. It kind of had that good mix.
she probably won't get like best supporting actress or anything because she already got
She
that.
should.
She already got it. I mean,
What'd she get for?
She got it for like Silver Linings Playbook, which is another
yeah.
David O. Russell movie.
And that they
Which
probably
was-
won't give like double awards for like
2
you
years
got
in
it
a row.
once for like fucking his movie. You're not gonna get it again.
Yeah,
That'd be cheating.
She'll probably get nominated, but still, yeah, great movie.
It was a good one. It's another good fucking Christian Bale movie and Woody Harrelson movie. Fucking Out of the Furnace.
The Furnace was good.
That was that's a good movie though. I like that. That's one of those movies I'd like to own it. I don't know if it's a movie like I'd sit there and just
Dave,
watch it like 3 times in a row, like in the first week. But
It reminded me a lot of Deer Hunter.
yeah, it kind of had like that kind of vibe where it's like it's a pretty serious movie. Even though that one doesn't really have as much action, I guess, as Deer Hunter. Because one thing because I remember when I watched Deer Hunter, I will say, in the very beginning of Deer Hunter, about 40 minutes into it, I was getting close to turning it off. Because it was one of those ones I was like, one thing I fucking hate in movies is long ass wedding scenes. It's like that's I love The Godfather, but I really don't like that scene in the beginning of like the first Godfather. It's really that scene that's like, fuck, 45 minutes of a wedding. I already hate weddings being like, can't just get this over with and we'll get to like the good shit.
In Godfather 3 already opens up another fucking wedding.
God damn it. And Deer Hunter, that how it was. And I just was the point where it was like, fuck it, just keep going. Just keep going. And then the movie just got to like some of the most amazing scenes I've ever seen. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Robert De Niro popping out of the ground
Pops
with
out
fucking
the flamethrower.
flamethrower.
It's like, oh my god, I'm so hooked. And then like the rest of the movie from there on is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
But Out of the Furnace, first starts out fucking great. It probably has the greatest
funniest
intro of all the movies this year. It's got like the Bond intro of a comedy, even though it's not a comedy.
Probably you and me in the theater were laughing.
Just Woody Harrelson and like his hooker girlfriend or whatever, like at a fucking drive-in movie theater.
This fucker drives himself. What's
So fucking funny.
Oh, nothing. You're just fun. Like, give me your hot dog. What? Give me your fucking hot dog. just Woody Harrelson, just all like fucking like drugged out. Just open your fucking mouth.
mouth.
Jams it in there, like slams her head
down. And it gets on. What the fuck you looking at?
Mind your own business, motherfucker. That's Mr. Motherfucker to you. He's like, fuck all y'all. I'm out of the movie for the next 30 minutes. And leaves and comes back in later.
But that movie, yeah, it's just that movie has like comedy bits in it that like I feel like maybe the director thought that'd be funny. I don't know, because that part is it's like it's funny in like a dark humor sort of way, and I think it's funny in like an actor sort of way.
Sometimes I think directors really do like they like in the movie they pose it as a very serious dark moment, but deep down they find it funny. The reason I say that is because going back to like Neil Blomkamp for a second, I was listening to the audio commentary to District 9, and there's the part which I didn't laugh at this part in the theater because I felt bad for it. But there's the part where like he the main guy has his hands strapped up to the gun, like shoot the prawn. What? I don't want to shoot the prawn. The prawn's all naked, just standing there shaking, looking scared. Shoot the prawn. He shoots it. Like he kind of like chuckles and laughs. Like that's my favorite part of the movie right there. Anyway, so like if it happens to a human, I'm like, oh, that's funny. But if it happens
But
to
not to a poor defenseless alien.
yeah, but, so it's kind of I think there are those parts that like they find funny that no one else finds funny, you know.
Well,
most people
Furnace was like it was a strong drama, but just it had stuff in it that was funny. Sort of like, but things that like they were funny in a weird way. Like it wasn't direct funny.
Yeah.
Sort of like the part where like Christian Bale's fucking telling Ben Affleck's brother, what's his name?
Casey Affleck.
Casey Affleck. He's like, well, what's wrong with the mill? You can get a fucking job at the mill. Your dad had a job at the mill. I have a job at the mill. You know, he's like, well, fuck the mill. He's like, that mill's like a fucking uncle to you.
Uncle Mill.
He's been there our whole lives.
He's like, the fuck the mill. He's like,
Who took you to baseball practice? Who took you to baseball practice? Fucking Uncle Mill. He got in that car and he drove you there.
It's like the small things like that throughout the movie, you know? And just there's the part where, like, Forrest Whitaker has the ability to drive without looking, as long as he's looking at, like, fucking, like,
Christian
Batman.
he just looks. He just fucking drives like, yo, what up?
For all I know, I just ran over grandma, but fuck her. I can't miss the staring contest with fucking.
Well, it has
Ben
like this
Affleck,
look to
Batman.
her, like it's like they both have this look on their face, like we're Christian Bale just looks at me like, fucking Forrest Whitaker's like dating my ex like girlfriend, and then Forrest Whitaker's looking
She's
like
dating Aurora.
and he's looking back at Christian Bale. He's like, is that fucking Christian Bale over there looking at me?
Is that fucking Batman?
Yeah, what the fuck's he doing?
And just the soundtrack. Release me.
Oh yeah, you put Eddie Vedder in there. You already like pretty much have got me in the theater. Then you put like a Neil Young cover. It's like I'm fucking there.
For some reason, I just because of that song alone in the trailer, I just assumed this movie was gonna take place like in the mountains of like Oregon or Washington or something like that.
Yeah.
I just assumed that, but no, it still doesn't lower it at all to me. But I still really liked that movie.
Yeah, that one was great. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the movies I was looking forward to the most this year.
It was for me, yeah.
And it was like, it's kind of like the surprise one, because it's like Superman, like I knew that was coming. It's like, I know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's Superman. Of course I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But this was the ones, like the second we saw that trailer, it was like,
I'm in.
fuck,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
I want to see Crazy Heart because that's the same director.
Oh yeah, you should see that one at some point. It really is a movie, like you kind of watch and you're like, this is almost just like The Wrestler, but it's still really good.
Does it end with like Jeff Bridges like stage diving and
No,
stuff?
it has a happier ending, I'll say that.
It's kind of like you can't go stage diving. That's my thing, man. I stage dive. That's what I do.
I'm a one-trick pony.
Ends that same Bruce Springsteen song at the end.
Yeah. No, it's it has like the same kind of beats throughout it, sort of that like The Wrestler does, and that kind of same thing, like, oh, you know, I was popular at one time, and now really only a few people remember me, and it's okay, it gives me a free fuck every once in a while. And
is there any part where he's working like at like a fucking grocery store?
No, he never worked. He still gets like enough money to not have to work a regular job.
Randy the Ram! He just punches the fucking meat slicer, and so he has to work with a meat slicer like pretty frequently. I was like,
not the meat slicer.
Not the meat slicer. Yeah. It's like, don't do that, Mickey Rourke.
Those things are dangerous.
Yeah.
Fucking. You know another good one? Hobbit.
Hobbit. I forgot about that. There's like a lot of movies.
I know that's why I was like, because first it's like we're like, let's have a top 10 list. Well, there's more than 10 movies. Well, fuck, we'll make 15. There's more than 15. Fuck, make 20. Fuck, it was
20. Like,
I don't know. We're probably at about like 25 to 30.
We were just like, well, how are we gonna order the fuck? We won't even order them. Fucking just throw them out there.
There's just too many. It's just too much. Well,
Too
Hobbit
much
was just
good stuff.
all around good. I mean, I like that a lot. I thought it was better than the first Hobbit. It's kind of like Two Towers.
Left you with blue balls at the end, but that aside,
That was to be expected.
good movie.
But you know, and I look forward to the third one for the fact that it's practically brand new material, other than a couple of things.
Mm-hmm. I think they're gonna take elements from that other Tolkien book that takes place before Hobbit and just plop
You know,
them
I was talking to Kyle's dad though, and he was saying, well, he's like, well, that other book though takes place like way in the past, so I don't know where that stuff's gonna come from. Actually, to tell you the truth.
I'm assuming they maybe just take story elements, or here's a character that was acknowledged in that, or something. Maybe I might be wrong.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Well, they didn't Tolkien write like sort of like a. It's not really necessarily an encyclopedia, but something that's like more to explain like the world of Middle Earth.
I think that's what that book is.
No, not that. There's one of them is like a regular
Slytherin
like, book.
or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's called Slytherin or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Smithsonian, I don't know. Yeah.
Fuck it, something. But yeah, that was great. You know,
I'm looking forward to it.
It's through Legolas, and I'm like, fucking A, right? That's cool. And it's,
Legolas and the chick from Lost. Okay.
you know, well, yeah. But yeah, Legolas is like, fucking give Orlando Bloom his major role. This is why we all fell in love with Orlando Bloom. After that, he fell off the bandwagon hard.
I remember, like, in high school, people were like, Orlando Bloom, Legolas! And then, like, suddenly, as soon as he was in Troy, you're like, fuck Orlando Bloom.
He killed fucking Brad Pitt.
And he was a pussy. It's like, you realize he was playing...
He made his brother go out and fight.
You realize that he's playing a character. Fuck Orlando Bloom! It's just like, okay.
And then Johnny Depp came by and, like, bitch slapped him some more. And then everybody's like, well, fuck Orlando Bloom. I want to be Johnny Depp. Yeah.
For some
Get in
reason,
my fucking Hummer and go, yeah, Johnny Depp.
for some reason, Nickelback is like, like they were big Orlando Bloom fans. Now they're like,
Now we play Johnny Depp theme music.
You got your Depp around your feet. They just fit his name in like any songs they have. This is how you remind me of how I'm like Johnny Depp. Like, well, second draft. We'll go second draft. See what happens after that one.
But Hobbit was all around good. I liked it. All the fantasy action you could want.
Plus, like a scene that would be perfect for like a Donkey Kong movie. Really.
Oh yeah, the barrel part. That was the coolest part of the movie. Was the barrel ride?
He's all spinning, knocking
Bouncing
out
off
dwarfs,
things, hitting
bust,
orcs.
And his arms bust out of it. He starts spinning around like crazy, knocking
Yeah,
all
he
the
fucking
guys
like
out.
spins around like Link or something like that. Or no, you know what it's like? It's like in Ninja Turtles, like when you grab the thing that's not the pizza pie, but the pizza that makes you spin.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember that.
When you're a kid, you're almost like, there's two types of pizzas in life. One that gives you health and one that makes you spin around.
When you're a kid, you're just looking like this isn't the spinning kind. God forbid the day I am in a China store and I eat the spinning kind.
Oh God! Turtle power! Your kid didn't just do that, did he?
Just like fucking throw something in their face, run!
Go! Good thing I have these smoke pellets. Well, speaking of smoke pellets, this movie's kind of like, it's like a double year movie because
Can I see that list right there? I'm still, yeah.
one half came out last year and it was on our top 10 list, and the other half came out this year and it wasn't on our top 10 list yet. So
Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns, which, you know, well, they pretty much, in a sense, they released that set where they put both parts together, so it's one complete movie the way that God intended. You know.
So you can almost count that.
So that's really it. In a sense, the first part came out in January, or the second part came out in January. And that really is the ultimate DC movie out of all the ones they made.
That is with those two together, I don't really have any complaints. Remember when we first saw Dark Knight Returns, we were kind of like, why did they take out the voiceover?
The second one, for some reason, the voiceover doesn't seem as necessary. I do wish there was maybe a little bit. There's one small
This would be a good death.
That should just be said. It doesn't have to be like a voiceover, but he should say that like right before he crashes the car.
Yeah.
But not good enough. And then the car should crash. Or you're going to say like, this would be a good death, and he crashes, and then it's like, oh fuck. And then like later on, it's like, oh, he's still alive. It's like, but not good enough.
That could have worked, yeah.
But other than that, though, that one of the best Batman stories ever told. They did a fantastic job in the anime. It's the best Batman movie by far.
I think so,
when people tell me it's like, oh, I like Christopher Nolan Batman, I'm like, well, you haven't seen shit yet. Wait till you see this. And I don't hand it to him. I go, no, you go out and get your own fucking copy. This is my prize and joy.
I just carry it with me for good luck.
I just carry it around and show it off to you. I'm like one of those jerk-off kids you went to school with. You know those kids that like, they would bring stuff like, dude, check this out. This movie's so fucking awesome, man. Like, I get the VHS fucking copy of it. You're like, whoa, it's so cool. He's like, yeah, dude, you should so fucking see it. You're like, yeah, when you're done with it, let me borrow it. Fuck that. No way, man. I carry this around everywhere.
Just to show people.
Just to show people that how cool it is. Not to fucking lend it out to poor people like you.
So he's pretty much the kid from like the Rice Krispies commercial from the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Is that the guy who was like the psych?
Yeah, because that was their theme that was their whole like catchphrase for a while. Want some Rice Krispies? Sure. Psych, pull away. Because fuck you, you're poor is too much to fit onto a box.
Yeah, so psych sums it all up in one word.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, whatever, though. Dark Knight Returns, though, it is the pinnacle of any Batman story.
I agree, totally.
You know.
I can't... That is like the best...
I will say, it's not my actually technically favorite Batman comic book, but as far as all these movies go, it is the superior one, I think. And who knows? I mean, it might be a long time till we see something that even tops that one as far as a movie goes. Whether it be live action, whether it be animated, whether it be something in between.
I'm looking forward to Man of Steel 2 or Superman vs. Batman, whatever they're calling it, but I don't think it's going to be as good as...
Dark of Steel.
Dark of Steel. They were playing with like some titles, and like they're saying like, we might go like Man of Steel, Darkest Night, or like...
It's like, just call it Superman Batman.
Just Superman dash Batman.
That's all. That's it. Everybody's fucking there. So
yeah.
You don't need more.
You don't.
You can be, yeah, that's all you gotta do. No, I've been looking really forward to that too, but the Dark Knight, it's like Batman's had a great run of animated features, but I think that one holds up well. And plus, put them together,
you got a perfect.
You got a 2.5 hour long movie. It's pure perfect.
Exactly.
What more could you say? You know, that really is. I'd say that movie's like, in a sense, it's almost like the #1 movie of the year. I mean, that's kind of just saying because they put together from 2 years, but
yeah,
it is sweet.
By themselves, good movies, but together, perfect movies.
Yeah, by themselves, they're great, but it's almost like you're just getting kind of half. It's like if you had any other movie. Somebody said, like, well, here's Goodfellas. Well, here's the first half. You're going to have to wait for the second one to come out later.
A little off topic, but kind of roughly related to mob movies. Wasn't Godfather Part 1 and Part 2, wasn't that originally part of the same book?
The book is just one book. And,
okay.
So what they did is, like, in a sense, it's a really smart idea to fit the whole fucking book split in two pieces.
Makes perfect sense.
I've never read the book, so I'm not too sure if it like flows the same way. Because you know, Godfather 1 kind of goes in one direction. The second one kind of has like here's Don Corleone while he's young, and then here's Michael, you know, later on, and goes back and forth between those stories.
Oh, okay.
The other really great movie of this year, World's End.
That's probably my personal favorite movie of the year.
Is that your personal favorite?
I mean, I'm not counting Dark Knight Returns because
that's kind of like the bonus movie of the year, because I feel we were given half of it last year and half of it this year.
I guess it would be Dark Knight Returns as my number one favorite if that was the case, but this is probably
let's just say
strictly
just including Dark Knight Returns.
This is probably my favorite movie.
Is this your favorite?
Yeah.
World's End's probably my third or fourth, I would have to say, but I liked it a lot. That doesn't really mean anything like it's any less than the other ones, but
well, what I like about Edgar Wright movies, it seems that like most of the time, if you have a comedy, it's like, okay, we get to play it like a comedy. They're fighting. It's a comedy, but this one, it's like, well, we could have this action scene and just have it be like, okay, yeah,
goofy and weird.
Just have goofy and weird, but what they do is they actually make it. It's well shot. The action actually looks cool. It's like when they want it to be.
They treat it serious when it needs to be serious.
The movie, I almost feel like the movie kind of has. This is going to almost sound like a pretentious critic would say, but the movie almost has you as your puppet. At least to me when I watch it. If it wants you to be sad, it pulls the right enough strings to make you sad and make you actually feel for this character and take it seriously. Or if you like want to be awed by the action or the cool cinematography or something, it does that good enough to where you know, okay, this is actually it's not something that's just, you know, passing off as action while we fit in like some funny gags.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing I just, you know, I love how like you can have comedy, but if you need to be serious, you be serious. If you need to have action, you have action. And I remember first seeing Shaun of the Dead, the trailer, and I was going like, that looks fucking retarded. And then somebody explained it to me, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Okay, because when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, it's just going to be some stupid, wacky slapstick comedy. Because that's just kind of how I don't know if they sold it to Americans like that, but that's how it sort of
I believe
looked.
that's how they did sell it to Americans.
And like to me, I was just like, fuck that. I fucking love Night of the Living Dead. Fuck you. That's kind of how I felt. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh my god, it's ingenious. It's a realistic zombie movie. The characters just happen to be the stupid character, not stupid, but like the funny characters, you know, and that's the comedy of it. But everything else, it's a real serious event. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's kind of the same thing of Hot Fuzz. It's a serious event. It's really like a total crime movie. Just the two main characters happen to be funny.
What I like about Hot Fuzz is the whole movie's like, it doesn't work like an action movie. Stop fucking saying that. Then it gets to the last 20 minutes.
And it's
only
like
way it can go down
movie.
is like an action movie. That's what I fucking love about it. And yeah, I just Edgar Wright is hands down one of my favorite directors out there.
And him, my two favorite, I call them the modern directors because they kind of say 2000 and on.
Yeah.
Him and Scott Snyder are my two favorite directors of like modern times.
Yeah, they're up there too. I would
say Eli Roth if he made more. If he made more movies. That's because I really loved Cabin Fever and I really loved Hostel, but then it was just kind of like, oh, come on. I always wonder what he does. Like, what does he do?
I know he was running some kind of like...
I've seen him produce a handful of movies that have like stand up. You know, oh.
I know he did some kind of like I'm not sure if he produced it or wrote it, but there was like a Netflix television show. It was a horror show. I don't know, called Hemlock Grove. I don't know if he produced it or not. And then there was he was involved with it in some way. And then he also made recently some kind of like horror gore house in Las Vegas during Halloween, but due to like stuff, it got canceled and shut down.
Huh. Because, yeah, it's like, he had, like, this... At first, I remember when his first two movies came out, I was like, man, this guy's fucking awesome. He's gonna be amazing. He's gonna be, like, next John Carpenter or something. And then he just... Like, okay, he's in Glorious Bastards. Mm-hmm. He was in Death Proof. He produced a couple movies. Is this it?
I'd like to see him do more. I'm curious. I need to borrow Cabin Fever from you at some point.
You gotta watch Cabin Fever.
Did he direct Hostel too?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did Hostel too. That was his third movie. Yeah. And then, but what were we talking about again? Fucking World's End.
World's End, phenomenal movie.
I love that one. I still need to get it. For some reason, the main reason I didn't buy it though is I could never find the Blu-ray of it. Mm-hmm. I know I could go online, but it was just that kind of like lazy thing. Like, well, I'll get to it at some point. Then. Yeah. Sometimes the internet buying's not. You don't buy it sometimes nearly as quickly on the internet as you do at a store.
They didn't bring it to Blu-ray here for whatever reason. At least not this time.
I didn't see it. Yeah, it was just weird.
I could see
every other movie known to mankind is.
I could see them doing this thing, kind of like, oh well,
it's a silly comedy movie.
It's a silly British movie, and it's not the Doctor Who thing, and that's what sells. So fuck it.
Yeah. But my personal favorite movie of the year was The Wolf of Wall Street.
That's my second favorite of the year, and
I like that one. hands down the most. For the longest time, I was saying Pain and Gain was.
That was the funniest.
Until I saw Wolf of Wall Street. And then Pain and Gain became number 2.
Wolf of Wall Street's the funny is, even though I like World's End more, Wolf of Wall Street is the funnier movie of the year to me. That movie is just flat out fucking hilarious.
Wolf of Wall Street is one of the funniest fucking movies, I think. I would say I would almost push it close to, I gotta give it another watch or two, but I could say that's almost one of the top 5 funniest movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Just how fucking dark and bleak the humor is. You're just kind of like, what if the kid came out retarded? Just probably take out to a mountain range, open the door, like,
you're free!
Go on. No, I wouldn't do that to me. I
put him like an institution.
Make him someone else's fucking problem.
I remember it was like 10 or 15 minutes into this, I was just like, dude, this is like exactly our type of comedy. Fucking Martin Scorsese. He fucking understands us, man.
Scorsese's always been one of my favorite directors, but after that movie, I was like, oh, Wall Street movie by Scorsese. I'll check it out. It's probably gonna be good. And then I realized how fucking hilarious the movie was. Just like 10 minutes into it, I was just like, oh my god, yes.
This could, with more, I keep saying, I have to watch it more times, but this almost could be my favorite Martin Scorsese movie, too.
Really?
I like it, because I don't know what it was. I remember walking out of the theater, I was like, this is fucking amazing. And every day after that, I kept thinking more and more about it, and it just kept going farther. It was like a 10 out of 10 movie that kept climbing up. Like, you don't know where that can go, but it just kept going.
Better than Mean Streets?
I would say better than Mean Streets. I'd probably even say better than Goodfellas, too. I don't know. That might be pushing at the moment, but...
I'm kind of like, I'm with you. It's high up there. I need to see it
I'm not
again.
saying, it's not maybe like a humongous jump, but I'm just saying it might topple that. But yeah, give it 1 or 2 more watches. I don't know. We'll go from there.
If it was in theaters longer, I would have saw it a second time.
Like, the movie's, like, I went to check, because I was like, is there anything coming out this fucking week? That movie's now the 3rd highest money-making movie of, the week.
Really?
I think because it won a bunch of awards, like, in Europe.
Uh-huh.
So I think they might have brought it back for a longer run. I don't know about here, but in other theaters.
Okay.
Because, sometimes, it's like the Black Swan thing. Black Swan came out, nobody gave a fucking shit about it. The second that it starts getting awards, bring it everywhere, like that kind of thing.
There were actually, I never saw the movie, so I can't talk shit. But I saw parts of it on like HBO. But when it Brokeback Mountain, they're like, no, take your faggot ass cowboy movie with it. Oh, it's getting awards.
Bring it in, come on. Cowboys deserve awards too. I mean, even
bring your wallets. Come on.
I mean, we all share dicks at some point.
And there was actually there's also I remember when it was released on DVD, there were people boycotting in front of a bunch of good old boys boycotting in front of Blockbuster holding signs. Brokeback Mountain out today. Get your gay porn here.
Wow. I mean, we're gonna go do gay porn later. I mean, what a horse watches and films. But come on,
we train a horse specially.
It's not gay. I mean, as long as you don't show your buddies it. Well, I mean, you can show your buddies, but don't show your wife it.
Yeah. As long as you show them in Mexico, because it's not gay in Mexico.
Yeah, your Mexican buddies can handle it.
They're used to it.
Really, we're not gay. I mean, we like to show it off to people. Go dude, check out this porn I was in. But as long as you don't show people around town that know you in.
Look how hard I stay for that whole time. Blow my load or nothing. I'm no fucking amateur. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
But when I see that Brokeback Mountain shit, fuck that.
Why is everybody so quiet and looking at me? I'm just explaining my feelings here.
I know the story's kind of based off me, but I mean, wait, fuck. Who let that video get out? No, but Wolf of Wall Street though,
how we get on that?
The Wolf of Wall. I don't know how we got the Brokeback.
Anyway,
we're talking about movies that people kind of
came back.
Yeah,
right.
where people kind of go fuck this movie at first, and then once it starts getting awards, it's like, come on in. You're bringing the money train with you. Come on in.
That's it.
But yeah, Mr. Moneybags at.
This movie was hilarious. This is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time.
Funniest movies, great story, great, amazing characters.
Matthew McConaughey, you'll be jerking off so much, you eventually won't even be thinking about pussy. You'll be thinking about money.
And the one thing I feel is what also might make this movie the best Martin Scorsese movie of all time is if it comes out on Blu-ray and they have an extended cut or something. Because
originally
he talks about he had an extra 40 minutes or so.
I heard originally it was a 4-hour movie and he was having trouble cutting it down. So
even if he puts a half an hour more in there or something like that, that could just make it just the most amazing movie for a long time almost.
I want to see it. I want to see it again. I would have saw it. Maybe they brought it back here. But I wanted to see it just get more. Because when I walked out, I'm like, oh my god, that was one of the best movies I've seen all year. So
I know if there wasn't so many other movies to see and all that kind of crap like that, I think it would have been totally worth going to see it. But yeah.
Took my like
Nephew.
6-year-old nephew.
You're not
you don't
seeing
need
the
to see
nut
Nut
job. You're seeing
Job.
Wolf of Wall Street. You know, you might like it. It's weird because like sometimes like young children sometimes will like the weirdest movies. Like it'll be the most adult movie possible, but for some reason they're like, I love this drama.
When my older nephew was like roughly 9 or 10, I was watching Departed, going back to Martin Scorsese, in the room, and he was just sitting there, just like watching the movie, totally into it. And, like, Departed, you want to watch this, you know? So,
Well, that movie I can see because it's kind of an action movie. I'm talking more like when you watch like a movie that has like no action in it,
well,
not really very much comedy. It's something that's like a straight up serious drama.
well, not even like a whole lot of action. Just more like it was more like he was even like really into it. The part when like fucking Leo DiCaprio was all talking about his mother dying and like popping pills and chugging, like, you know. So it just like he was really into it on that part. I'm like, oh wow.
Well, because I was like one of those kids that like I would really like movies that like generally I guess most kids like. And things like, well, give them a stupid, silly, slappy comedy movie, you know. Or it's like, no, I like these drama ones.
No, that was yeah.
Wow.
But definitely one of my favorites of the year.
Any other movies you can think of that were just damn good? That were
I liked
honorable mentions.
I talked about this. This would have been on my list if we had like a specific list or something. I really liked the horror film Anniversary, which played at It's a Film Fest this year. That was a really good horror film. It was different. It stood out enough, and it kind of even presented things like it kind of did like even though I liked Cabin in the Woods, I know you didn't really care for it as much. But
that's one of those movies. I feel if I maybe gave it a second watch because now I know what I'm kind of getting. I think it's like you go in the movies and you go, oh, just generic bull crap at first, and then the end it goes, oh, okay, this is cool. Where I think of now, it's like I understand that it's supposed to be kind of like that. That I think I might like it more.
yeah.
Well, it'd be like Fight Club. I always call it the Fight Club syndrome. Because the Fight Club is one of those movies where I first watched it, I'm like, Brad Pitt's not real? Fuck this shit. Like, that's where like it really... And then you go back, you're like, okay, now that I know what this movie's all about, that's fine. I understand it.
I like how it's like Tyler Durden's not real. It's Brad Pitt's not real. If it wasn't Brad Pitt, it was somebody else, you probably wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know. It would have changed my mind. Brad Pitt was like the narrator. Maybe it'd be different.
No, but I'm trouble imagining like Edward Norton pushing around Brad Pitt that whole movie.
Yeah.
Like fucking like Brad Pitt knocking on a door, like Leonard Benjamin Carter Norton answers the door, fucking just towel, fucking like rubber glove. The fuck you want?
Nice.
Brad Pitt like, well, it's a little noise, nothing, just a little noisy. All right, whatever. Slams the door. Who was that? Shut the fuck up. No, but anyway, going back to Anniversary though, that movie, it kind of did the thing where it did kind of thing with Cabin in the Woods did. It presented like what you expected was going to happen. Like, oh, you presented these options here of what you implied what's going to happen next. But then it kind of holds back on certain information, and the little information they give you, it kind of throws you off track, and you end up going this other direction. It's not a movie. I don't think it's been sold yet to anybody. It's only being played at festivals, so I don't really want to spoil it for anybody. But
Yeah.
really good movie. The company going to advertise for another. It's Faith versus Fate Productions. They have a YouTube channel. The movie's The Anniversary. It has a really good picture, good slasher film, and yeah.
You know what some other movies like? I call these would be the quick honorable mentions, but they're, you know, Star Trek 2.
Oh yeah, Star Trek 2. I forgot
Star Trek 2 or
Into
12, however you want to look at it.
Into Darkness.
Into Darkness. That was a really good one.
That was
enjoyable. Thor 2 was really good too.
It was enjoyable.
I'm just trying to think of some of those movies like they're good, maybe not as good as the other ones we listed. But
Iron Man 3. It was good. I liked it more the second time I saw it.
Iron Man, I didn't give it the second time one, but that one to me, I would actually put that in my disappointments. And like,
Really?
not as bad as Parker, but I'd put it in the same thing as Parker. I guess because when I watched that trailer, I was like, okay, I'm not a big fan of Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man, but this trailer looks really good. It looks like they're taking the material real serious, and it's not going to be kind of wacky slapstick comedy. And then I go in there, and it's like, well, there's a bit of that, but there's still a lot of that modern Robert Downey Jr. comedy where he's Mr. I got the line for everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess to me it's like one of those ones like the Iron Man movies aren't really I don't really like them that much anyways, and so I was kind of looking like maybe this will finally be able to bring back that childhood joy I had of Iron Man.
I like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2's whatever, Iron Man 3. Watching it a second time, not as good as Iron Man 1, but it was a lot better the second time I saw it.
Huh. Because Iron Man 1 was one of those ones, like, I
Knowing
liked
what it
I didn't
was.
think it was amazing, but I was like, okay, it's not bad.
Knowing what it was and going back the second time around and watching it, I was like, just take it in. Don't expect Dark Knight or nothing. it was like, okay, this is a better film than I
Yeah,
originally
I
thought.
guess I was expecting I'm like maybe they'll get by the third time they'll get it right. Mm-hmm. And then it was kind of like, well, it wasn't bad, but to me it felt like a 2.5 out of 4.
No, I get you.
So, but I would say it was a little bit of a disappointment. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think what other good movies there was, but I know there's a lot, and I wrote down, however many. Oh, we talked about that one. You probably just looked at my gibberish scribbles and I'm crossing them out now. It's just like...
Lori just handed a note to us. What was the movie? Wolverine. Oh, yeah, we talked that one.
We didn't forget Wolverine.
You just say it. It's all good.
I'm trying to think. I'm afraid to forget something and turn the podcast and go, no, don't forget that. But I don't think there was something like that.
Spunkholes the Rabbit.
Oh, yeah, that was the fucking best short of the year. It technically came out this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Drunk Batman episode
7 8.
Yeah, there you go. No. Yeah.
Well, did you have it like? Now this is not saying with every video game, but out of the video games you played, what was your favorite one of the year?
Probably Grand Theft Auto 5.
Was that the best?
That's probably for everybody. For me, it'd probably be Grand Theft Auto 5, Arkham.
Well, no, for everybody, because I just got the new Game Informer and that had all the top 10 countdown list. And everybody's favorite game in there, excluding like 1 or 2 guys, was The Last of Us.
I didn't play that. I would like to, but
yeah,
BioShock.
One guy had Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds, and I was like, "There we go. That's the guy I trust." I don't know what it is. Whenever I look at those top 10 lists, I always kind of look at like, what is the guy's number 1 pick? It's like most of the time, it's like it's not that they're not. I'm not saying anything against the games, but kind of like, okay, there's this. It seems kind of like the generic popular game, and then I'll see something like, oh, there's the guy who likes Pokemon. Fucking A, that's my guy. Or there's the guy that like picked Metroid or something different.
I don't buy as many games as I used to, so the big ones I bought this year was BioShock Infinite. I really liked that. Grand Theft Auto 5 is probably my favorite of the year.
It's Grand Theft Auto. It's like, how could you go wrong?
I really liked Injustice. Injustice is really good.
Yeah.
Even though you bought it, I didn't buy it, but I will eventually.
And I would probably say I think my favorite one, the game I think I was also the most impressed with, was Pokemon X and Y. I'd probably say that was the best game of the year. And then I'd probably say Injustice was like the other one I really was into. I mean, there's other good ones. Like Killer is Dead. I'm going to put that on my fucking list because nobody else puts that on their list. And things like Deadpool was cool. And so was Batman Arkham Origins.
Did I say Origins?
I don't think we did, which is weird.
Batman Arkham Origins is on that list. It's probably of all those
Tomb
games,
Raider, even though that might have came out the year before.
Of all the games I just listed off, Batman Arkham Origins, even though it's still on my list, that's probably at the bottom of that particular list just because it's a little glitchy and they did the whole Joker's the bad guy again.
Yeah, it didn't feel as new as it should have, but it was still
a good game and still
a game.
If you look
Link Between Worlds,
Link Between Worlds is one I really want to get.
That one, and then, as I said, Pokemon X and Y, that game will blow your fucking mind. It will, literally.
They bring in some of the classic characters in this one, right?
It just feels like it does all these things right, and does things that, like, you go, like, that should have been fucking been in there, like, day one, but, like, I don't know why I never thought about that, but that's fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. And, it's just awesome. But, well, let's see.
You just have this most magical, whimsical look in your eye.
When I think of Pokemon X and Y, I go like, whenever I see people talk about it on Twitter, I'm like, isn't that game fucking amazing? And they're like, yeah, dude, it so was. I'm like, yeah, fucking right.
The 7 or 8 years I've known you, I've never seen you cry, but this is the closest I think I've seen you come.
That Pokemon, there's just something about it, like, and I always tell people, I'm like, it's the best Pokemon game since Red and Blue. Because, after Red and Blue, they Gold and Silver is actually a pretty big step when you really think about it, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you can not only get a brand new map, you can actually go back and see what happened in the old map, and they added in day and night, and they added in all the breeding features, and there was a lot of stuff thrown in Gold and Silver when you really think about it. And after that, it just felt like they had little things, graphics got better, little things, graphics got better.
They still add in day and night in some of the newer games?
In this one, there isn't day and night. I don't think, at least. Maybe you could catch some Pokemon at dusk or whatnot. Then again, I think I've only played the game at nighttime, so I don't fucking know. Maybe there is a day. But I don't think so. I think that was a Gold and Silver thing, and I don't know if they had really any of the other ones. Is it in Black and White? I can't remember.
I don't think it is in Black and White.
No, I think that was just a Gold and Silver thing, the day and night.
I still gotta finish Black.
Probably because people got to that point where it's like, oh, fuck it, I gotta wait till nighttime to go catch this fucking Pokemon. Or I have to wait till... Or probably it's the other way around. People are like, I gotta get up during the daytime.
Or you have parents complain that their kid playing the video game under the covers at night or something.
Well, it's not even you can
Maybe.
catch it like at fucking 6 p.m.
Well,
it's
there
like
you go.
it's not like there's a certain point like you have to catch this Pokemon at like 2 in the morning.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's like you know.
I never finished Silver and Gold. I played a little bit of Silver and Gold. Never. Finished
You know what you
it.
should do if you ever get the chance though is get the fucking the DS remakes of them, the Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Okay.
Oh, they're so fucking awesome. But yeah, fucking A. A lot of great stuff. That I will say, 2013 was the year of plenty.
Yeah,
Whether
definitely.
it be games, whether it be movies, whether it be,
Comics,
comics,
yeah.
all the new 52 runs, all good. Yeah. So, check out oldmanorange.com. Until then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We'll see you some other time. Bye.